When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I grew older, I set aside childish ways. Corinthians 13:11. In the distant future, mankind has spread into the stars and found it is not alone. Within the cluster of planets known as the Silrain Arc, many races strive for survival or supremacy. But throughout this array of planets, societies, and cultures, each has one thing in common: the crucibles. Scattered throughout the galaxy, each moon-sized structure contains a core of raw sorium, a form of mysterious energy used to power ships, cities, and sometimes the warping of the fabric of reality itself. Beings who can do this have been given a name: Espers. The power of God has been granted to God's children. It is a time of terror. It is a time of wonder. It is the time of Esper Genesis.
Nothing gets me more fired up to go than watching one of Kilobyte's amazing introduction videos, including that one with the amazing Matt Van Roon's music and, of course, graphics put together by Kilobyte. Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 17 of Esper Genesis, Consigned to Oblivion, sponsored, of course, as always, by Alligator Alley Entertainment. I am your GM, DM, Arvin Elleron, and I am happy to have the full crew with me, and I will talk about them in just a moment. But before I do that, just wanted to talk a little bit about ways to support the stream. If you have not done so already, please make sure to follow this channel. That is the best thing you can do. Please make sure to tweet out this stream. If you hit !tweet, you'll be able to retweet the stream to all and sundry, and that would be much appreciated because we always want to reach out beyond just the sort of Twitch community. The more that we can broaden this out and get more people involved, the better. So please consider doing that. !arv tweets will allow you to join my Twitter, where you can see I always tweet there when I go live, and I talk there about family and writing and games and music and teaching and politics and things like that. So you can head over there and check me out there as well. !arv2 will get you over to my YouTube channel. If you subscribe there, you'll be notified whenever I put new videos up of past broadcasts on the Twitch stream. I have all my videos going back some years now for all my various campaigns and things like that, so you can get caught up if need be. !arv2 will get you over there. !arv core Discord will get you over to the Discord where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Arv Shop will get you over to my merchandise area where you can get stuff relating to Infinity and Beyond. That is one of my main campaigns that I play of D&D, and you'll be getting that tomorrow. Saturday evening, you'll have more of that. We are also working to put more merchandise up of other things, including Adventures of Middle-earth and Esper Genesis and Assignment Impossible and things like that, so you can check that out at Arv Shop. And then lastly, the other two financial ways to support the channel, which are doing well right now because of the generosity of folks as we close out 2018. The Patreon is sitting at $406.96. Would love to see that go north a little bit further, even $410 or beyond. Again, my goal was to be over $400 when we hit the new year, so we are closing in on that goal. So thank you to those of you who have supported it already. You will get a copy of one of my band's 3 albums. You can get a copy of one of my band's 3 albums. You can get inspiration to help the players. You can get critiques of your writing depending on the tier you support at. You can get an epic character background written about you, etc., etc. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do through the Patreon. And of course, the more that we go north in the Patreon, the higher it gets, the higher the channel gets benefits as a whole as well. So anyone who's able to support there, it's much appreciated. And last but certainly not least, of course, the sub system. My goal was to get over 50 subs. We are sitting at 52 subs right now. So any people who are able to sub and get some of these awesome custom sub emotes and custom sub badges you see, those are always welcome. And I am super happy for what we've been able to do so far. So please consider supporting that way if you can. What did we manage for ARVCon this year? Over 3,000 Echo. We raised over $3,000. I forget if it was like maybe 3,100, something like that, but it was over 3,000, which was great. And it means that we will have that much more to set as a goal for next year. But I was very excited about it because I'm really, that's important to me. And we'll have a lot of stuff going on this time around. We will have a lot of things going on this time around as far as charity stuff and other things going on with publishing and so forth. So that is all going to be happening as well. So check it out. With that said, tonight we have got Esper Genesis as that continues. Tomorrow we will continue with D&D Curse of Strahd. Next week we have, of course, Christmas time. Tuesday is Christmas Day, and I will be streaming on my channel as decreed by chat, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. I'll be playing that with my family, with Mrs. Arv and Mini Arv and Little Arv and myself. And then don't know if I'll be on again that day, but I will be on for at least that part of things. Then I will be on, in all likelihood, I have to confirm this with Terry, but on Thursday during the day for a special gamebook illustration stream with Terry. That should be a lot of fun. And then Saturday we've got Masters of the Dungeon, my D&D talk show. Sorry, Friday first. We have got Assignment Impossible on Friday, I believe. And then Saturday we have got Masters of the Dungeon, and then the end of year show where we will talk about the games of the year that I played. We'll probably play some Bard's Tale 4 Barrows Deep, and that will wrap things up for 2018 before we go into what promises to be a very busy 2019. It's going to be super busy for me publishing-wise and otherwise, but it'll be all good stuff, so I'm excited about that. All right, with that said, it's time to get this party started right, and so I'm going to unmute myself so the folks know that we are ready to go, and then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, dun 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 dun, there they are. You can see the crew is here, and for some reason I put Carlos on one side. I don't know why I did that. I moved him to the right, and I'm sure that's not where Carlos would want to be. I'm sure that he'd be much more left of center if I were to place him properly. So there we go. Much better. Sorry about that. All right, so the crew is here. We are all here. Everyone is here. It's very exciting. And I am really happy to welcome everybody in. Also, I noticed that Zach, because you came. All right. Zach is not playing Aramis today. Just give me a second. I see someone apparently decided they would come in and then leave again. There we go. All right, clever, very clever. All right, you did not throw me, however. Now we've got everyone in their proper
I told you
place.
I had to reset my internet.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that was going to have this effect. Zoom, I ask you again, please give me the chance to move around windows. Please, Zoom, please do that. Anyway, the crew is here, and I'm very excited to have them here, and we are going to let them introduce themselves because I've got to stop tonight at 11:30, 3 hours from today, because I got to get back and finish up with grading. So I've got to let Carlos and I were commiserating about this before the stream. So we got to do the thing. So and I want to make sure we get some play in. So I will start with the gentleman on the far left, who I was chatting with about the campaign that he will be running on my channel next month. Extremely exciting, and we started talking a little bit about what we're going to play. Right now, it's basically between Monopoly and possibly Risk. We're not sure. Sorry has a chance. There's a chance for Sorry, but but in any case, how you doing, Johnny? How's life?
Can we play diplomacy? Play diplomacy?
Only if you don't want any friends left at the end of it, man.
Well, so that's what happens when I play Risk. So I figure if diplomacy is an extended version of that, we might as well try it anyway.
You can blame the dice though. I played diplomacy twice, and the second time I got screwed over by Germany, and I'm like, I'm out. I see what happened in World War II. I'm done. All right, I'm finished. you all are bastards. And anyway, but how's life, Johnny? And who are you playing today?
Life is good. I am no longer in Ohio, which means I am no longer affected by weird weather occurrences and poor utilities. So I'm doing good. I am looking forward to having that little making the final decision on the conversation about that. It's one of 3 campaigns I'm starting in January, so I'm looking forward to getting to all of those. They're going to be crazy and fun. And I am playing Aramis, who is a Ashen Forged melder, who, since I wasn't here last time, I have no idea what's going on. We were left in a precarious situation, and I'm looking forward to hearing exactly what you guys did to Aramis and how badly he's screwed.
So, yeah, I asked everyone to tell you, but I guess... So they wanted to know if you were okay being cremated or if you preferred burial. I'm just kidding. That's not nonsense.
It was cremation, burial, or send you out into the vacuum of space.
I mean, you're already Asha as it is, right? So I figure,
just take me back to a crucible. I can be reborn, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, they can use the material again, right?
Not at all. Yeah, not in any way did they kill you. It was just fine. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Aramis gets played out today. Moving right along, of course, we have the newly lit. She got a special light bulb for us. And that, of course, is Kat Rambo, who is here. Hi, Kat. You're looking very bright and sunny, so to speak, here on the longest night of the year. How are you, and who are you playing today?
I am great. It's a nice end of the year, and I am playing Petra Sinis, the Ashen Forged Sentinel, with a will of iron and a very large hammer.
I was gonna say, what? Axe? Wow.
No, a hammer.
Yes.
And chef's tools.
Hammers and chef's tools. And by the way, in the last few sessions, of course, Petra has had odd encounters with computer systems, which is strange and unclear and doesn't know what's going on yet. So that's beginning to develop over time. We will see where that leads. But I'm very excited to have Kat back again with us today, and I look forward to seeing what Petra hits her hammer with this time. Moving right along, on the right side of the screen, right side of me, you will see, of course, Carlos Hernandez. As I said, Carlos and I were commiserating about grading, but we have managed to do enough to kind of pull ourselves up from the muck of assessment and into the joy of gaming. So how's life with you, Carlos, and who are you playing today?
Yeah, so one class down with grading, 1 class to go, so that's really good. I've actually had a really good week in other departments. Just very briefly, like both Kirkus and Publishers Weekly gave me starred reviews for Sal and Gabby Break the Universe.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Kirkus especially is a little bit of a ball buster. So
I was just about to say, who'd you pay to get them to do that? Wow, Kirkus.
Many people, but luckily it worked out. They don't have to take the brush. So yeah, it's a good week for Sal and Gabby too, and the semester's winding down. So I'm very much looking forward to next week, because that will be like the first 2-day period where I don't have anything scheduled except for breathing, which is great. So I am playing Ludiku Sleepwell, and Sleepwell is a very cat-like person who has been having some difficulty with the violence that he seems to be thrown into constantly, but since these are more automaton-like creatures, he's far less squeamish.
Yeah, these ones are not. The fact that they have a family and and spouse and kids, that's not really. I mean, that doesn't really. I'm just joking. So it's like, I'm appalled. You're talking I'm killing data over and over again.
Exactly.
Anyway,
it's just like deleting cookies, man.
Yeah, that's
Deleting
all it is. Exactly. It's just deleting cookies. Well, I'm excited to have Carlos back with us. Yeah, congratulations on the reviews. That's great. And I am looking forward to seeing how Sleepwell manages things. In fact, Sleepwell was directly involved in the very end of last session, so we'll talk about that in just a minute. And last but certainly not least, of course, we have someone who, when you last heard him, was giving his lending his vocal stylings to A Christmas Carol and did an amazing job in that role, and now is back with us here as the inimitable Cosmoritis, and that, of course, is Mr. Zach Clay. Hello, Zach. How's life in the universe? How's everything closing up with the end of the year for you, and who are you playing today?
I'm doing very well. I just today was the last rehearsal with my drumline students. I was showing them a little bit of composing music, which is always fun. And I am also ready and excited for a very long and needed break from everything. So love the holiday seasons for that reason, at least.
Yes.
But today on Esper Genesis, I will be playing Cosmoritis, who is a Bellare hunter. I have a sniper rifle, and I am in a ship, and it's dead space. So, time to go.
Got
Let's
a rifle, a pack of cigarettes, and it's 1,000 miles to Chicago. Right?
Yes.
Well, I am several thousand parsecs to the next place. Well, I am looking forward to this. This is going to be a good time. Let us get the music fired up and let me summarize what happened last session and let us get into it. These folks are currently sitting on the dead ship, so to speak, known as the Tangra. Oh my God, wait a minute. I have to stop because I got a streamer introduction from Echo. Whenever I get a streamer introduction from Echo, it is definitely epic. So I will read through this. Oh, wow, this is very dramatic. Okay, here we go. From Echo Alpha X5, of course. 2018, a turbulent yet a year of major extraordinary events. Wait, it just vanished. What are you doing? Why are you deleting this, Echo, when I'm reading it on stream? What are you doing? What is going on? Echo! All right, I can't. I was about to say 2018. Echo. You're wrapping it up. Well, wrap it up faster. I got to get going here. Introduce more epically. Do the recap. Okay. All right. Well, in the last session that these folks had, they are on the Tangeril, which is a large and abandoned, apparently smuggling ship that was being worked on, or that was they were led to by a character named Spindra. Spindra was someone they had been led to in turn by Rona, who was someone they had worked with in getting their ship, the Hyperlance. The Hyperlance was an amazing ship, one of the greatest ships in the galaxy. The problem is that it's not really working right because they haven't been able to figure out how to work it without the use of this AI system that they've got in place. Do not be alarmed by this sudden appearance of the major text. Okay. So the problem is it doesn't really work right without their AI, Alfred 2020, which is still sitting back on the, which is currently back at Pel Tiveria, the space station that they managed to escape with this ship. Right now, they are on the other side of the Silrain Arc and managed to, once they got through that place, it was damaged the ship. And so they managed to go to the one place that they thought would be able to repair the ship and not ask questions while doing it. And that was this woman named Spindra. When they actually got to the station, they discovered that although they didn't get many questions asked about it, they had to get Spindra out of some trouble. She was being basically shaken down by some gang members. And when they managed to defeat those gang members, she said, first of all, was very thankful, and then kind of rushed them onto her ship, the Placostomus, so that she could head out with them and get some equipment to be able to repair the Hyperlance from the smuggler ship that she used to work on, called the Tangeril. When they actually got there, after several encounters in the meantime, including with a massive sea slug, sea snail, space snail that they managed to defeat, when they got there, they found the ship was dark and abandoned and drifting. And when they got inside the ship and turned it back on, they noticed that the cargo seemed to be intact, but there were no crew visible, or at least not to begin with. Very suspiciously, the crew made its way to the front of the ship, and when they got into the room just south of the just shy of the cockpit, they discovered that there were body parts there, and in fact, the crew had been killed by something inside this ship. The creatures in question eventually attacked the party as well, and they turned out to be these creatures called Kanasi, some kind of strange spider-like being, which I believe I have a picture of, which I will show on stream right now. These strange creatures called Kanasi, which attacked the party. They were invisible and very nasty, and the party managed to defeat 2 of them. Now, the party still doesn't know if that's all of them, but they managed to defeat 2 of them for the present. In the meantime, Spindra bailed out on them, basically apologizing profusely, and told them that she was going to come back, but that she couldn't stay, and that it was too dangerous, and so on, and basically, as the party sees it, abandoned them to their fate. And so after the party managed to defeat these creatures, they locked themselves inside the cockpit and set about trying to gather information about this ship. They discovered a couple of things, including a log of the ship involving a shipping manifest, records of previous essentially what had happened on the ship over the last several weeks, which apparently involved an attack from these creatures, and also potentially the destination of the ship. But the destination to the ship was encrypted, and the party has not yet been able to figure out how to hack in and find out where the ship was destined to, and whether or not they want to keep going in that way or turn around and go someplace else. First, they have to deal with the immediate problem, which is survival, and figuring out whether or not they've got this place clear. Then they have to decide where they're going to go next. Are they going to go head back, get revenge on Spindra? Are they going to head on? What are they going to do? Are they going to wander in space and just feel sorry for themselves? What exactly is going to be their decision as to what to make? And so with all of that said, now I am going to give the streamer introduction, and then I will give this back over to the party, since I think it's now finished. Now, is this the right one, Echo? Is this now complete? Is this actually finished, this one? Okay, good. So here we go. 2018. A turbulent, yet a year of major extraordinary events. A genesis came upon us. A resistance roared forth to seek justice for a crime so grievous that speaking of it hurts our soul. A new vast universe was born. Amazement of kind hearts as ArvCon 2018 wrapped up with $3,100, but alas the loss of TikTok, for as he sacrificed himself for the group as Tiamat was taken down after 2 years of reign. This is referring to my other D&D campaign. But his sense of duty and loyalty to his group inspired us to look out for each other, as he was the group's Iron Giant. Elsewhere, on date 2/24/18, realism was turned upside down as a new adventure was born, for in this galaxy far, far away, mankind had spread into the stars, finding itself not alone, a cluster of planets, the Silrain Arc, races combating each other, striving for supremacy or even a shred of hope for survival, but what linked them all together was the Crucibles. Across the galaxy, this form of mysterious energy lingered, powering ships, cities, and perhaps warping the very fabric of reality itself, called Sorium, and from this came beings known as Espers. The year was 1278 AB, the fall of Eos Keldor. 4 adventurers bound together in ways not imaginable set forth on what will become an adventure of a lifetime. Their very core of being, Cosmeritis, a Bellari hunter, an ancient Zarina, a fire-blooded Promethean who was a battle-minded adept. No more with us, who knows what has transpired, but to her we wish her well. Amongst these were the Ashen-Forged ones, those are capitalized, you should know. Aramis, manipulator of energy, the intellectual, and Petrasinus, a sentinel, the protector and combatant. Deep into their adventure came along a stray cat who was and is hypnotic. He would make sure you slept well, and Ludicus sleep well, a Valda engineer. And what shall transpire with this fine party of Espers? Only way to find out. And who are the spirits of these Espers? Type in Esper crew. Yet elsewhere, a blizzard came down upon the Arvanauts as a voice with that of a robot spoke, for the Arvocalist grew with the arrival of Zach Clay, a musician, voice actor, and more. Sponsored by Alligator Alley Entertainment, our very beloved Arvin Alaran, oh thank you, was sought to find a crew to throw into this adventure, and here we are. And it is Christmas. A Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and so forth. But to give away to this extraordinary adventure, we all wish these adventurers Godspeed. And leaving behind Earth, the echo of Albert Pike and Professor X spoke. To all, for when someone stumbles, loses their way, it doesn't mean they're lost forever. When we do something for ourselves, it dies with us. But when we do something for others, it is and remains immortal. Thank you very much, Echo. Good stuff. Very impressive. Thank you, thank you.
Where was the real life intro for everyone else? Why do I?
Well, no, I mean, it was because you joined us in several things. I guess that's why. And so he was just giving you all the credit, for these two new things.
I mean, I already know that, but I just want it to feel fair,
Was Sequel's theme song Stray Cat Strut?
Ooh.
Oh, I like
I'm
it.
not taking these alive around. I love Stray Cat Strut.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Echo. Good stuff, man. All right. So I will hand this now over to the party. You are sitting inside the cockpit of this place. Sleepwell, you had just sent out a drone to one of the rooms in the ship, which I believe might have been the galley. And what you decided you would have the drone do is basically have it create a bunch of noise. So start knocking things around, bang into walls, things like that. It took a while, but after a while, something, you don't know what, you saw a shimmer, and then something, you heard a loud bang through its microphone, and then the feed was cut short from the drone, and your drone link was broken. And that was where we ended last session, and so I will now hand over to the party in terms of what it is that you want to do. What'd you like?
The drone's dead.
What room did you send it in again?
Yeah, it was just on the left-hand side. I had to follow the left corridor from, for facing the door, went around. It was basically as far as I could send it, because I have to be pretty close to it, and it was the galley area, and dead.
What do you mean dead?
Dead, like poof, gone, no more. Bye. Dead.
Deactivated. Destroyed.
Defunct.
This is an X-drone.
It's pining for the fjords. Choir invisible.
Can you, Sleepwell, can you point to the room on this map that we found?
It here.
Ah, okay, got it. And you said that was a galley, like a...
Yeah, it just looked like a basic galley.
All right.
I didn't get a good look at it since, my drone became an X-drone.
Since your drone is an X-drone now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Hey, Aramis, you were kind of out of it for a little bit there.
What are you saying, buddy? I was in that fight. Yeah, I didn't run away scared like a little girl because of those spiders. I mean, what?
No, yeah, you didn't.
You want me to go check this out? Do you want me to go stomp this little bug?
I mean, I think all of us should, but I think that's these things were very scary to fight, as I'm sure you know. Though that whole scenario of fighting and you remember very vividly what it was like to fight these things.
Absolutely, it was terrifying.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
It's that Thousand Ohio stare that he's got.
So, but okay. So, what's her name? Spindra. Spindra's gone. So this is where we're at. We're stuck here. So, do we try to reactivate this ship and take it somewhere?
So here's the question I have, and I believe this came up at the end of last session, and we were kind of tossing it back and forth in idle banter, which is that there's a possibility there may be more of these things aboard this ship.
Oh, I think so. I think one just killed my drone. It kind of shimmered before it decided to X my X-drone.
So
Right,
that needs to be our focus.
Yeah, I agree.
I have a question. I have a mechanics question, or from last session question. Was there any effort done to determine the nature of this particular creature? Did it appear at the end, and did Sleepwell do like any sort of analysis of any kind?
Yes, actually. Do you remember Sleepwell? Because you did, and you and Petra. Actually, Petra also removed a portion of it. So
Couldn't remove a portion.
The hell?
Did we not succeed? I don't think we succeeded in removing a portion.
I believe I removed a mandible.
yeah, she was able to remove a mandible.
Okay.
But what you found on it was, just as a quick reminder, you had definitely damaged and hurt it, but there were no markings on this thing at all. No serial numbers and nothing like that. And since it was very clearly a machine, that suggests black market pretty strongly. So, and very expensive on top of it. This thing is what this thing was able to do with its own built-in invisibility field and all that stuff. It was nasty.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I have a working theory, Aramis. I think this is a war machine that was being smuggled into a war area, and the crew got a little too curious and opened up a crate they shouldn't have, releasing these things, and then they quickly got wiped out.
Or they released themselves.
Also a possibility.
But isn't, I think that's right. You reminded me that I think there's a lot of other things in the other crates, right? Did we find some sort of like a manifest of what is in the other crates? I remember learning what was in them, but I forget how and what.
We haven't. Yeah, we got a manifest, but there's a part that we know we can't access, but we haven't been able to read it yet.
Yeah, the empty directory.
Right.
Right, which was, by the way, the same kind of directory that you read, the empty directory, when you tried to access the destination log as well. Same thing. Those seem to be, this is a popular word in another universe, redacted as well. So, yeah, redacted.
Well, technically, that's in our past, right? I mean, in Esper Genesis past. If
Hopefully
Star
not
Wars
for much
exists,
longer, my friend. Hopefully not for much longer.
exactly. Would it be possible for Aramis to do a computers check to try to take a look at this empty directory?
Sure, I think, yeah. In fact, I think you were one of the few who didn't. Everyone, like Sleepo, was like, "God damn it!" Was trying to do this. So yes, you can absolutely do that if you like.
Wow.
This is what happens where you're like, "How do I use a computer?" Fisher Price, my first computer. It's not.
You don't remember one of the side effects of that fight is you were just drained of all intelligence. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, no. It's. I mean, for one thing, this is an oddly set up computer system to begin with. It's not quite as ridiculous as the Placostomus, where it was like, using the equivalent of an Apple IIe system, but it is definitely not a normal sort of straight system. Your guess is this is a lot of sort of black hat, equivalent systems, the dark web Linux things, that sort of stuff. So it's a little weird to begin with. But the thing that's very clear is that there are several distinctive areas that are shut out, and it always has to do with the same thing. It has to do with the manifest relating to the crates. This is one thing that I think I may have mentioned, but if not, I just want to remind everybody. The manifest that's definitely hidden relates to the crates in the back of the hold, the black crates, the unmarked ones. The manifests you have are for all the blue crates that are forward of that.
And just as a quick reminder, what did we see in the blue crates?
The blue crates were things like basically overall stuff that you would expect to be illegal but not unusual. There are a lot of there are various precious minerals, a lot of technical equipment. Clearly, this is what Spindra meant when she was talking about trying to get parts for the Hyperlands, because there are a number of parts in there. Various metallic substances of different levels of rarity. There is also, there were several crates of what look like presumably illegal drugs that are being sort of carted along as well. So very sort of straight ahead, everything you could, smugglers are us, equipment. Mm-hmm. None of it legal, or very little of it legal in these quantities probably. But nothing that you saw some of this yourself when you were stowing away on ships back in the good old days. So none of this is particularly shocking in terms of what you had access to.
The good old days, like a week ago, time-wise for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The good old days, Tuesday.
They're looking really good right about now.
Oh.
Was there any attempt to actually get this thing running?
No.
Like moving?
No.
So the captain, his severed torso is resting right now on the captain's seat. We used a bracelet that he had in order to activate the systems that we've discovered so far, but frankly we were mostly just recovering from our last fights and took a watch of sleep, in order to recover. We haven't tried much else.
Yeah. Well, do we want to try to get the ship moving, or do we... I kind of agree with Petra in trying to clear the ship before... Well, I don't know. Maybe we don't need to clear the ship. Maybe we just avoid the parts where we know these things are. Maybe we just scout and save ourselves the fight. I don't know.
You do remember the 0G severed limbs, right? They're gonna come looking for us.
I think it's important that we know where they are, even if we avoid them.
Yeah. All right, so maybe let's scout all the other rooms and just get more information.
Okay, but can we please, like, just do it smart so we're not cornered and separated and attacked from 3 angles at the same. So,
What are you suggesting,
excited, so we be smart. The next room we know has like 4 different access points, 2 from ladders and 2 from there. Plus, these things are invisible and popping from the ceilings. So we book it to a room that we can secure. I know that the galley only has 1 entrance and 1 exit. What I'm going to suggest is that we book it from this room to the galley, shut the door, and then we start, securing rooms one at a time after that.
With the galley is where the one that is alive is, right?
Yeah, so I'm thinking divide and conquer. We rush it, we get in there, we shut the door, we kill the thing, and then we move on.
Okay. Yeah, we could. I want to lean a little bit more into scouting, so not necessarily like going in and killing them one by one, but I think inevitably we may need to do that, so.
See, if we send out a scout, the scout's going to be vulnerable. I just sent out a drone who scouted the area. We know there's one out there.
Yeah, you're right. All right, well.
Where's the galley on the map?
Point to it.
Right here.
Ooh, pretty. Christmas colors.
And by the way, it is a guess that it's a galley, but it's a fairly good guess. There is a table in here that has a set of cups and things like that are on the table, and the cups are knocked over. There's no liquid left anymore, but basically this feels as if, there might have been people in here, and then, then something happened, and then they were gone. There were no bodies in there, but there were definitely signs of a hurriedly ended meeting or conversation or get together or something like that. And there was like a basic little stove and stuff like that back there.
Okay, so sorry, I'm really shaken from that last fight, but
Of course.
On the manifest, was there anything to indicate something that might be an effective deterrent for these things? They were caged at one point is the assumption, right? So there's gotta be something here that we can use as an effective deterrent, or at least a way to corral these things.
So
Fighting them
cannot
seem
see
like-
spray.
Well, so Gregory, when I hit them with my hammer while it was flaming, didn't the flame seem to do extra damage, or was it
it
coincidental?
It did do damage. I don't believe it did extra, but it definitely. But I mean, I shouldn't say that. It did damage in addition to your hammer, so it was not resistant to the fire. That's for certain. I want to double check and make sure that see if I'm wrong on whether it did more damage, but I don't think so. I think but it definitely was affected by it. Yes.
All right, so my dreams have been destroyed, but all right.
Well,
I will double check to make sure.
Could set the entire ship on fire, and that would solve our problem, right?
All right. I've got one other question. I've got one other dumb Aramis question, because dumb Aramis wasn't here last time. Did we figure out what this shape is on the lower deck?
No.
No, I think we did. I thought that was an escape pod.
What shape are you talking about?
This one here.
In the north.
On the north side.
So yeah, you have not been in that room yet. The map refers to both that room and the one below it as the hangar bays. Now, the bay that you entered was in the southernmost side. It was the bay to the south. That's what the Plecostomus was attached to. That one, the hangar bay door was open, and there was no ship there. So there was it was missing. So it might have been that's how they used it to escape, whoever did escape or whatever. You don't know, but that was open. You don't know about the other one because you haven't been up to that other side yet.
All right, so
I hate to say it, I think Sleepwell's right.
Yeah. Why do you hate to say that? I'm really good at this.
We just got out of a fight here. I'm
really good at this. Wayne will listen to me.
It's only because your plan involves fighting more things, and we're all a little hesitant about fighting more things, even though I think you're inevitably right.
mean, have we not been in a fight every single day that we've been with you, Sleepwell?
Yeah,
Doesn't
but-
this look odd to you?
What I can tell you though is before me, I'm sure you all were fighting like crazy and getting yourselves half killed. Now
No,
you got
no, we were very peaceful. Everything was incredibly peaceful before you arrived.
Very peaceful.
sleep well.
Petra does
well.
says it's an absolute deadpan. She says, yes, they were incredibly.
Good
I have
times,
nothing
good
to say
times.
about that.
I do want to make also. I do want to point out one other thing about the First of all, yeah, it was not extra damage. It was just regular damage. The other thing I want to point out is that, but having said that, it was in addition to the damage you were doing normally. So it was having an effect. It just wasn't like, oh my God, fire is my one weakness. It was not that. The
It
other
says
thing
that as a voice clip.
right, just plays it that way comically. Oh no, fire! The other thing I wanted to mention is that in addition to the items that I mentioned, I do want to emphasize that you also found picks and shovels and things that looked like they would be suited for a mining facility. In addition to the smuggling stuff, there was also stuff that looked like it would be suitable for mining purposes. So I did mention that, and I wanted to point that out again. Pickaxes and things like that. There were a couple of what looked like maybe like electrosonic drills and things like that.
And we have not actually opened any of the crates. This is just from a registry that we've seen in the logs of the ship, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Except that, yes, because you opened it, right. The crate, you opened up the thing on the Placostomus when you were attacked by the thing, but not you were attacked by the Vorkata, but not this thing. Yes. So you have not opened these.
All right. I'm gonna make a suggestion.
All right.
Following along with Sleepwell's idea, I'm gonna take an extra step and try to figure out if these things are detectable using a little thing that I can do. And I'm going to cast, or I'm going to use my talent. Hold on just a second as I find the character sheet, and I'll link it. Esper Sense.
Esper Sense.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. I mean, look that up in my Esper Genesis core role.
Hashtag actually is sponsored.
Dun, dun. Okay, so you want to be able to sense the presence of any Esper powers within 30 feet of you, okay?
That is correct.
So, and if you're going to cast that now, see, concentration up to 10 minutes. Okay, good. So from where you are now, the only powers that you sense at the moment are, let's see. Yeah, the only thing at the moment that you sense right now is just the stuff that's within the room, which, you know, your companions, basically. But you do not sense Esper powers beyond that. Not yet.
Okay. That's not my first question, but thank you.
Oh, okay. I thought
my
that
first question is, do I sense anything from the body parts of the creatures that were attacked us?
Oh, I see. No.
Not at all.
Nope.
Do we still have one of the bodies that had the stealth technology activated?
You have one of the bodies, but or at least you have pieces of the body, but you don't. It does not have the stealth technology activated. That faded when you killed it. In fact, it faded when it attacked. So,
Armis, does your Esper sense things that are no longer alive?
It depends if the technology. Wait, do I? Okay, so meta question, real quick, before I answer that question, because this is actually really important. It's not clear how Esper sense works when it comes to sort of the mystical elements of the Esper powers. Like, for example, Sleepwell's ability to, as an engineer, is actually based in, sort of, the way that the Esper powers sort of work, right? It's a mechanical element that uses the storium versus being a mystical element.
That's right. That's right.
Much in the same way that right. So I should be able to detect him and like his or even causes rig is another example.
Correct.
Of that.
I was going to say, or any object in the area. Yep, absolutely. And
Right.
and you do sense those for sure.
Do you sense those from the two of them?
Correct, but not from
Okay.
this machine that's on the, or what's left of the machine on the ground.
Okay. So I look to Kaz and respond with certain machines that use Sorium as a part of their technology work in the same way that my talents, my abilities work, my powers.
Okay.
The way that Sorium affects technology has the same signature. If this thing is invisible or was invisible, and we can figure out how it was doing it, maybe that technology works in the same way as your rig or Sleepwell's drones. Maybe we can detect them that way.
Yeah.
This only lasts for a short period of time, though, so we need to figure this out quickly. And I look to Sleepwell and I say, did you find, you're an engineer, did you figure out how they were doing the cloaking, the invisibility?
Way beyond me, man. I haven't seen anything like this.
Well, we can escort maybe. Okay, what if we do this? Is your sense, if we were to walk the perimeter of the kind of railing around the dock, what is that called? The storage area?
Around the hold?
Yeah, if we were to walk the perimeter of the hold, you would your sense would be able to sense into the other rooms or not?
Mechanical question before I answer. As stated, the power can penetrate barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone or metal. So the way that I'm understanding what you're saying, that in my inability to sense anything outside of this room, is that the walls of this particular room are at least a foot thick, so that I can't.
No, that is not it. That is not accurate. That's not
Okay.
why.
Okay. All right. Just I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, these are not, the walls here are not that thick. The Tangerol, at least not here. Now this is just, the spots leading from the cockpit into the room, the sort of navigation area. One thing you were not here for this, so Johnny, so this is a little unusual, this ship, in that the command seat here, the command chair, is separated from the navigation system or the navigation computers which are in the room previous. And the only thing you can think of as to why that might be the case is that it is a smuggler ship function to sort of add a layer of secrecy and kind of prevent detection more easily. But that said, so in other words, this may be the case where maybe this is because of thicker walls, but it doesn't seem like it's likely. They have metal, but they're not a foot thick. There's something, you're just not sensing anything out there that has Esper power, and you definitely are sensing it within this room, with your companions around you.
So, Aramis, what if you and I walk the perimeter of the hold, and then that should give you a proximity to every room that we pass, and you should be able to sense into each room that we pass by. And
Agreed.
Maybe we have the other two of us staying close enough behind so that if something were to happen, they can just run in. But Sleepwell, Petra, I know that you're kind of big and clanky, but in a good way. And then Sleepwell, I'm not.
I mean that in the best possible way.
I mean that in the
Righty,
best
definitely.
possible way. Sleepwell, I'm not sure how well you can stealth around.
Look, this is a bad idea. Separating the party, running around the perimeter. As soon as I made a little noise with my drone, I attracted something that cut it in half. We run into one room, you can get the radius of the next room through the wall, and then we hop from room to room. We can't be walking the perimeter. That's just asking for trouble. These things are invisible. They'll fall from the ceiling.
Let me ask you this question, Sleepwell. If there's definitely one in the galley, does it make sense for us to go and clear it out, or does it make sense to take the time and try to figure out how many more of them are here, so we have a better plan of attack? I understand, the whole, moving slowly and clearing one space at a time, but we're in trouble here. If we can't figure out, what's going on, how many are here, we're going to die here.
One room versus the entire hold. I'd go with one room.
there may be more than one in the galley as well. If we go in charging, then there may be 3 of them in there. You know,
Maybe
I
5.
think we should at
We
least.
took out 3 though.
What?
We took out 3.
We did.
This time we'll have the element of surprise on them.
Maybe.
People seems very hyped up and stubborn about this.
Well, okay, so sleep well. Maybe all 4 of us. Okay, how about this? Maybe we all go out and first go to the galley. If Aramis senses more than one in there, maybe we make a different decision, or maybe we just decide to charge in. But maybe starting from there, at least sensing.
Guys, let's figure out if I can actually figure out that there's actually something in there first. Let's move through the next room, get ourselves to the galley, and I'll do my thing outside of the door, and hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully I can see this thing, and then it doesn't actually attack us immediately. Carlos, or sorry, Sleepwell, did you leave the door open? Did the drone leave the door open when it went in?
Yeah.
Do these doors automatically close?
They do, but they may still be unlocked.
We should be able to unlock them from here, though. We did that before.
True.
So I'll just go, I'll just unlock them all.
Well,
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea.
Why don't I unlock 'em?
would we know? Would we know if we can unlock them when we're in front of them?
Well, when you came,
are they automatically locked or what?
No, they're not automatically locked. They unless that's done from elsewhere in the ship. When you actually found the door there, it was unlocked from the auxiliary control pedestal, basically, the podium that was in the hangar bay that you used when you first got there. And then you were able to relock the doors from the computer system that's in here. But presumably, if the doors just were left unlocked, then you could just walk in front of them and they would open. That's the standard way that a lot of doors open on, many standard ships across the galaxy these days.
All right. So, I guess we go out and try to sense through room 1 and then possibly just go straight in and pick a fight.
Works for me.
Maybe Petra and Kaz, you can guard the shaft waves where creatures could come up from us in the next room.
I'm also better further away. I could. Yeah. I don't know. For me, I would be most. Being close quarters with that thing may not necessarily be a good idea, actually, because then it can hit us. I know for Petra is the most close quarters out of all of us. But another thing that we could do, we know that we're going to walk over there. And in fact, I think we should start walking because your sense is starting to wane, probably, Armis. But we could try to drag it out into the hold, and then we just have the large open space to do with it whatever we want. Petra could hold it on the railing. I could shoot it from, the other side of the hold. We could use Esper powers from the other side. I don't know. We could block it in the room, but
I agree with you about timing. And with that, Aramis walks out the door.
all right, we'll figure it out.
Okay. So you walk into the next room, and the room seems to be just as it was last night when you left it there. You were followed by your erstwhile mechanical-legged dog, which is Spindra Sprocket, I believe.
Let's just send Sprocket running and barking through the entire ship.
Sure. I think that's certainly a good way to call plenty of attention to this dog.
Yep.
So you move into the next room. There doesn't seem to be anything there.
Wait, sense anything at all?
Still no.
Since I can see in darkness, I'm going to look down the shaftway that I'm nearer to right now.
Okay.
I also can see in darkness, so if there's anything looking down the other shaft.
Okay. all you see down below is basically just the light that is currently filtering from, you may remember I described these as going down to the floor level, and so you can see a little bit of light faintly filtering from here, from the hold, so you can just kind of see very dimly the bottom of the ladder illuminated in that light. But there doesn't seem to be anything obviously moving down there that you can see.
I take a moment and point to Aramis and show him the carcass that's before him here and say, look, there's not a mark. This thing is like nothing I've seen before.
Looking incredibly sort of grossed out and just kind of reaching out, I kind of feel around on the carcass, looking for any type of technology that might have some resonance of Esper.
There's nothing like that. But as you are in the process of sort of reaching around and through it, you can't find anything like that, but you sort of don't find any like obvious sort of plates that would provide access into the machinery or anything like that. And I'd like you to actually roll a, let's see what I'm going to have you roll. Let me have you roll the mechanics check, please.
Man, that's not my deal. That's not my bag, baby. Why are you going to make me do that?
Since I'm there, can I assist?
No, because you're not doing what he's doing. Unless he were to say to you, hey, you know, because I can't explain what it is that he finds until I know what he gets. So
Yeah.
Okay, so as I'm kind of beginning to do this, I look up at Sleepwell and say, "Are you sure you didn't check these things for any type of technology, or did we? I mean, this." And I'm just kind of reaching around. You want to lend a hand here?
Yeah, we were a little busy at the time, but sure, I'll lend a hand.
you have to be careful as you're doing this, by the way, since much of it is just knives. There's a lot of razors on this thing. So as you're kind of carefully, looking among the very sharp metal, imagine, building a computer, except that it's just the case is open all the time and you're constantly reaching in to change the graphics card. Think about what that does to your hand.
If you don't bleed on your machine, it's not a good machine.
It's not built. Right, exactly. I totally agree with that. It's 100% true.
All right.
So yes, you can reach in that. You can't assist Sleepwell, but you can do your own check. So I'll take a mechanics check from you also.
Okay.
How about a 15?
Okay, and let me see what Sleepwell gets also.
I got a critical fail.
It's because you're like, it's painful, like it hurts. Like I don't, ow, God.
Ow.
Jeez. It's like I don't want to mess with it. Yeah. He starts to like lick the back of his hand. So you do not know Sleepwell, but actually you are reminded as you're looking through this that there was a rumor some time ago. You always kind of put it down to because you never actually encountered one of these Kanasi, but there was a rumor that the Kanasi had started as machines but ended up as self-aware beings that did things themselves. This is the kind of thing that, they would tell kids to make them behave, right? And you remember hearing stories about this from people around you who would say things to the effect of, when you see a Kanasi on its own, it means that it's gone rogue, that it's done its own thing. You have no idea how accurate that is, but it strikes you, again, that since there are no markings on this, it's possible that this were built for something else. But it does sort of cross your mind about, what if this thing was a functional, self-aware thing operating on its own, it and its companion/companions. So there's no technology there's no, and there's nothing that reflects Esper sense per se, but you can't rule out the possibility of what I've just suggested. But again, that's a story and a rumor, and it might also be a red herring that kind of might be something which will keep you from paying attention to its real owner or whatever. But it's just this story, you are reminded of this story because of the oddity of the lack of any identifying marks or plates or anything of that kind.
All right, we should keep moving, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the door slides open, and as the door slides open to here, you hear still nothing in particular other than just sort of the general sort of faint humming of the ship. The engine's on a very low level, not really moving the ship anywhere, just sort of, life support and lights and the basics like that. And then which direction do you head? Are you heading up this way, or which way are you headed?
Yeah, I think up that way is the direction of the galley, so...
Yeah, Maramus is moving with a purpose.
Okay.
He's trying to figure out, and in the time that he has left with his ability, or his talents, or power, he wants to figure out if it's going to work.
Okay. You do not sense anything in this room of an Esper variety.
What about in the galley below, or sorry, in the cargo area below?
In the hold below?
Yeah.
There, you do actually sense Esper power down below, yes. And it's coming from over near the direction of the hangar bay where you came in. So it's about 30 feet, right? So coming from somewhere over in this direction, you do sense some of it. Faintly, but it's there.
Can you tell if it's a creature or an object?
Well, you can see a faint aura around a visible creature or object. You can learn its domain. You know exactly what domain this would be. You're certainly not able to determine from here whether it's a creature or an object. It's faint in any case. It's at the edge of the range of this thing.
So as I pause by the door, I look back and go, doing my, being quiet, and then I point in the direction over here. Why am I not able to do it right now? Hello, Roll20. I point in that direction and give a thumbs up.
I move up next to Armis.
Okay.
And then I want to unlock my sniper and then look down the scope and see if I can see something in that direction.
Okay. No, all you see down here are the crates. Although near the crates there are a couple of other smaller containers of something, and they look like containers which might have been unloaded from the Plecostomus. You don't exactly know what containers, but there might have been a couple of containers unloaded before everything went down with looking up at the front of the ship and then Spindrift freaking out and leaving and all that. There may have been a couple of containers that were unloaded onto this ship.
Did you just say she may have unloaded a couple of containers?
Possibly. You remember her saying something like that she was going to do that, although it was unclear as to who was doing it or when or under what circumstances, but that she needed to unload a couple of things for this ship. And they're definitely, these things you can see through your scope, Kaz, are definitely not the same size as the crates around them. Like, they're definitely smaller.
Do they look, okay, asking for Kaz, because I know this is probably something that he would probably do. Do they look like the Saurian containers?
Looks
that
like
we were
pretty likely, yep. Seems like that.
I say that. I think it's just the Saurian containers from our other ship. That might be what you're sensing. Okay, so we're in front of the galley. Are we charging in? Are we drawing it out?
Can we listen at the door
Sure.
to see if we sense
Make
anything?
a perception check for me, please.
About a 20.
All right. And is it just you, or is anyone else doing that?
I would as well, I believe.
Okay.
I'm a little far from the door. I don't know if I could get close enough.
23.
Wow.
Wow. Nice.
So, you hear inside the door what sounds like a faint, like a. It sounds like a little bit of like a sparking or a buzzing sound.
Yeah. And that's all.
That's all.
And that's not the sound we heard when we were attacked the last time.
No.
I whisper to Armis, I think that's Sleepwell's drone. slowly dying.
Agreed.
All right. Well,
You hear, we're doomed. Oh, we're done for. Oh my.
yeah, I can understand robotic, and it's saying, "It's over, man."
Not the eyes are to help me.
Fly, you fools.
Right, yeah. You hear none shall pass in a metallic robot voice.
Goodness. All right. I'm down for being on the other side of the hold so I can shoot at it from the open door, but if we're all charging in, we're all charging in. Someone else make the decision. I'm ready.
I'm gonna draw this thing out if it's in there.
All right.
gonna
Kaz
work.
starts walking to the other side of the hold.
Okay. And are you positioning yourself there in front of the other door for like a direct shot or
is
what?
there a way for me? I mean, we've been standing in front of this door without it opening, so I'm assuming I can do the same here.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Because you have not actually you've been standing outside it, but not making a move to head towards it. You're just sort of like, you've been leaning over to the side to kind of listen to it and stuff like that.
I'm gonna curse myself if this doesn't work and Sleepwell was right. But I'm gonna stick my head into the inside the door and see what I can see.
Okay. So the door slides open, and you see on the floor in front of you what looks like the remains of Sleepwell's drone. There are indeed sparking parts and bits of the drone in different places throughout the room, but the center of the drone's body has been carved neatly in half, as if just sort of chopped right down the middle. And just sort of looking at it from here, you see it just sitting there and sparking, bzz, 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 like that. But that's all that you see or hear at the moment.
So Petra, you would probably be right up there, I'm thinking. Okay. You want one of us to move for you?
Yeah, because you guys are so tiny, I'm having trouble distinguishing which person is which person.
This is Aramis.
So ping me where you want me. Let me put like.
If you use you're on a Mac?
Yes.
If you use commands, and then like a 2-finger swipe on your tablet or an arrow, or you use your mouse, you can zoom in.
Okay.
There's also a slider on the upper right hand side as well.
Yeah, that might help.
So I think I'm right there with you, aren't I?
Yep, you are. That's
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Okay. So as they're poking in, I just kind of give a cautious glance to Sleepwell, and I'm holding a sniper rifle shot, just ready, just waiting.
And while they're doing
Motion.
this, I'm scanning the entire area to see if I can find any other enemies.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, make a perception check for me then, Sleepwell, please.
20.
Nice.
Certainly doesn't seem like it, at least not that you can see. The only thing you sense down anywhere in terms of living things at the moment is Kaz standing in front of the door on the opposite side of the hold.
Mm-hmm.
Whisper past Petra. Sleepwell. Have you got the armband?
No, that's on the torso and the seat in the captain's chair.
Maybe we can lock this thing in there.
I think we could just do that from the control panel. I mean,
Is there a control? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just out of character quickly, we had unlocked the doors and I think locked the doors at one point in the last session. So I think that's available in the captain's area there.
So, didn't we see signs? I move slightly back over. Didn't we see signs that these things were able to move, like unlock doors themselves? Like in the...
Potentially, but it's not clear under what circumstances, and you don't know whether they did it or whether something else did.
Well, I'm leaving it up to you guys. If we're killing it, we're killing it. If we're trying to lock it in, we're locking it in. I don't need to eat food, so the galley's of no use to me.
Nice.
And I just moved back.
You'll lose permanent access to the kitchen.
No one's got any grenades? Petra, you must have a grenade.
For some reason, I think I do, but
Yeah,
maybe...
on the hyperlens, you got into that weapons crate.
That was
Oh,
it.
that's
I did pick up some grenades
That's
there.
right.
Don't you have a grenade launcher or something?
I think I just have a little cluster of grenades.
I don't remember.
Greg, did you write it down?
I do have you as having picked up grenades. I did not see a launcher. It's possible that you had one and I didn't write it that part down. That's possible, but
I
know
think
that
it
you
was
had
just grenades, though. I don't remember a launcher. I thought it was just a grenade.
Okay, I am wrong.
But yes,
All
you
right.
had a set of grenades.
Aramis just throws caution to the wind, sticks his head back in, and goes, "Hey, ugly, are you in here? Show yourself."
And with that, two things happen. Number one, you see a strange shimmering in front of you, and something shoots out at you. Something slashes out at you from the shimmer. And at the same time, Kaz, the door behind you flies open.
Oh God!
And behind you, you are aware of some presence that slams into your back. Everybody roll initiative.
Oh
please.
great!
Roll D20.
Oh God!
Yes.
Nobody
Yes.
listens to me.
Initiative
So we don't have the
time.
element of surprise.
Well, maybe. You might have had it.
Might have.
At one point, you might have
All
possessed
right.
it.
God. All right.
Let's see.
Come on. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I didn't put the turn thing up. Someday I'll remember to actually do that. Okay.
As always, I am trailing at the end.
All right. Let's add turn. Let's add turn. Let's add turn. And let's add turn. Okay. Let's see. So we've got 22 for Kaz, who is clearly shocked about all of this. We've got Petra, who's shocked in the other direction. How is this possible? And then we've got Sleepwell, who is feeling smug. And then
No.
we've got just sort of disappointed in life, maybe. Just like, okay. And then we've got those. So let's see. Do you have element of surprise when they were waiting in ambush? Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, that's really the question, right?
So are they going to get a surprise attack on us, or are
You
we
don't
just
know
going to
yet.
cancel out?
You don't know yet.
Okay.
I will let you know.
Great.
It may be that it will not affect all of you equally, but we will see. Okay, so that's this thing. Lovely. Okay. Okay. And then this, and we should be good to go. All right. This is going to lead off with Kaz. Kaz, before you do anything, you need to make for me a dexterity saving throw. You're going to need to do this right off the top because something has slammed into your back, and you need to see whether or not you're able to catch yourself before you go flying over the platform, the small little wall that's in front. Actually, no way. I take that back. Do I take that back? I do take it back. It's because that's not because you're able to see across the. No, I don't take it back. Before you go flying off that little wall, so or over the little wall. So you're gonna need to make a dexterity saving throw first.
All right, here we go.
Something slams into your back.
17.
Pretty good. So this thing bangs into you, and you stumble forward, kind of pitch forward, but catch yourself. And when you turn around, you see that indeed you are facing this thing, which is now shimmered into existence. This, again, an image of this thing that you previously saw. This beast, which I will... There we go. It's not that big. It's not that big. this thing, which is on the other side, which tried to slash out at you. It did not apparently hit you with its razors. It was apparently trying to slam into you from your backside, which is interesting because if it had tried to cut you or slash you, Kaz, it would not have had it would have done damage to you, but it wouldn't have had the effect of pushing you over the wall. In other words, you get the feeling that it was trying to push you over the wall just now. In any case, you have a chance to go, so you can in fact operate. But you are in melee range of this thing, quite obviously, so, you know.
Yeah. So can I see can I see the one that is in the room that Aramis just opened?
Not anymore, because you are currently facing, I mean, you could turn around again if you wish, but right now you are facing the thing that just slammed into you in the back. I mean, if you want to ignore that and be like, go to hell thing in the back, you could do that if you wish.
Well, yeah, because I'm imagining basically I was prepared to line up a shot, and as soon as Aramis opens the door, I'm about to press the trigger, then my aim gets knocked off by this thing.
Right.
Kaz depending on what he can see, he's going to raise, I wouldn't have even turned around. I would have tried to see if I can nail a shot and then go from there.
I will allow that, but you're going to be taking an attack of opportunity from this thing. If you're firing a ranged shot and it's within melee range of you and you're not paying attention to it, it can literally...
It'll be like, no, pay attention to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're exposing your back to it. So I will allow it, but just be aware that it could get a shot in on you. I mean, a slash in on you.
That's if I make an attack.
Correct, that's right.
Okay, so can I look through my scope and see if I can even see it? The one across the way?
Sure. And you can, in fact, see this thing, although now this is all happening within a few seconds, so you do see something shimmering into existence, but you don't yet know, like, the implications of that, other than it's definitely another one of these creatures.
Okay.
What's up, Rakan?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit, because I know Kaz would probably try to separate from this anyway, and that would also result in an attack of opportunity, so...
Okay.
Well, unless you disengaged, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna... If he has this angle with the sniper, and I actually... yeah, he's gonna take the shot.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one last thing. I am gonna give you a -1 to this because you have just been thrown into the wall.
Oh, I imagine.
So I'm giving you slight minus, but not too bad because your focus is remaining on this thing in front of you. So if you're not even gonna turn around, then that will mitigate some of the negatives. So just a -1 on the shot.
All right. So yeah. So after getting his shot misaligned, he's just gonna try to get his angle while he still has it.
Okay.
So as a hunter, so a few things. When we did take a long rest. So Aramis, if you're missing health or anything, I'm not sure if I boosted you back up.
Yeah, I have him at 17 out of 17.
Okay.
Everybody I have at full, I believe.
Yeah. So I'm going to a couple things. Number one is after we took the long rest, I remember I set my
quarry
to
I remember that. Yep.
automatons.
Yep.
So that'll have benefits. And then, let me see. I can't even find where that is. The other thing is I have to hunter's mark it first, but that's fine. Other thing is I have advantage on creatures that I go before on the first turn of combat, which would be everything right now.
Yep.
So I'll take a shot at the thing in front of Aramis with advantage, but with a -1.
Okay. Do it up.
Here we go.
And the -1 is combined with whatever else you're doing. Like
Yeah.
if you've got,
so
it might
this
be
will
just
normally I'm a
plus.
+6 actually.
So it's
I'll do
+5.
Here we go. 22.
absolutely.
I think that is. But we'll go for spicy. Okay. So how's a 22?
It absolutely hits.
Awesome. Okay.
You
so
fire true.
A 2d6 plus 2.
Right over Aramis's shoulder, actually.
Yes. Or wait, 2d8, I believe. Yeah, 2d8. So good 8 points of damage.
All right, so it slams into this thing, which sort of staggers back a step or two, and you have this uncomfortable experience, Aramis, of like this shot going right over your shoulder and be like, Jesus, you know, or Kaz is more likely to say this time. And this thing sort of staggers back. You certainly made the immaculate shot right there. All right. He staggers back a step or two. And now, while he does that, he is going to get, that is going to trigger, as I said,
Okay.
an attack from this other thing. That is going to be a 17.
That does hit.
9 points of damage. This thing slams into your back.
All right.
Brum!
Ow.
Yep.
And then Kaz is going to break away from it and move. Let's see. So each of these squares is 10 feet, right?
I believe each of these squares is, I think I had it as 5, I believe, although people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I said it was 5 per square,
Okay.
I believe.
All right. So then I could go 5 because I am going to run away from it.
Are you disengaging, which is just 5, or are you running? If you're running, that's going to be another attack of opportunity.
Technically, I mean, you could run it differently, but I think the general rule is something can only have 1 reaction per round of combat.
That's the good point. Yeah, it's a good point. Yep, you're quite right.
Okay.
Yep, you're quite
So
right.
I will disconnect from it.
You already took its slash. I forgot. Yes.
So I'll disconnect from it. So each of the squares, if it's only 5 feet, then I can go 5, 10, 15, 20.
Sure. Yes.
Technically, and I'll go 25.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
This thing emerges from the door. Bad guys go next. And runs right after you, like just right the hell towards you, and leaps towards you with claws outstretched.
Okay.
In an attempt to slash at you. It is not. It's like, get over here. 19 to hit. 19 will hit. Yes, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. Just going to do. Okay, that's another 7 points of damage. All
right.
As this thing just sort of slashes through. Do you have resistance to slashing, by the way?
No.
Or not? Okay. Yeah. So it slashes right into you, and it is right up in your grill. Aramis, this thing on its first attack is going to get not advantage, but it is going to get a slight benefit against you, as it is sort of essentially coming out of almost like stealth is sort of the equivalent of this. So it's going to be attacking you at a little bit of a bonus, but because you were looking in with, sort of like waiting for this thing, it cuts down on what might normally have been. So it's not getting the full advantage that it might normally have received.
Did we so as my concentration drops on the Esper sense, did I get anything from this thing at all?
Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So let's see. So 16.
16 definitely hits.
Okay. Again, attacking with its claws. And 10 points of damage. These things pack a wallop, if I haven't been clear about that before.
Okay, so I'm going to activate Force Shield.
Okay, seems wise.
Let me see if I can link it into...
What's up, Fantastic?
So, you can roll 1d6 to add. So let's do a d6.
Wow,
so
nice.
Adds the result to my AC, which means that my AC becomes 17, which
means it would miss.
Still hits.
Oh wait, no,
Or
that's
would-
right. Rolled a. No, it had a 16. That would not hit.
Okay, so
now, one
Hey.
thing in the future, though, Johnny, let me know that before I roll damage, just on this thing, because I kind of did it all of a piece. So just that, now that I know that you can throw, do the force shield, that you had that set up, it's not a big deal. I'm just for future, because I want to.
no, absolutely.
But that
sorry,
said, no, it misses. No, it's fine, it's fine. So it does miss then. So you get this thing up just in time. Wham! It like impacts against you. You stagger back a step. The thing you notice about this, both Kaz and you have noticed this when you were fighting the first ones too. These things, whenever they hit, they seem to be hitting with more. I mean, now these are big creatures, but they seem to be hitting with surprising force. I mean, not just kind of like, oh, they slash you and it hurts, but I mean, there's weight behind every blow, and it just strikes you as being sort of odd for, even though they are large creatures, they're you're getting walloped every time you get hit by these things, and you're not sure what to make of that. Okay, that is both of them having gone. Sleepwell, you are up. You see, you are currently penned in by friends, and as people in chat are saying, xenomorphs.
So the creature came out of the door when it attacked?
Yeah, it came. Well, which one? The creature up top, the one that's
Up top. Yeah, the one that attacked Aramis.
Yes, it is currently standing like literally halfway, like inside and outside of the door.
Got it. So I'm so sorry. The computer that I have that has my rule book on it is currently on the fritz, and so I'm gonna just have to ask for a little help here.
Okay, what's up?
EMP pulse, I think, is a radius sort of thing, and I think it would encompass both of our xenomorphic friends here. Just wanted to check to see if that's true.
It is, I think, a radius, and let me see about whether. Let me see whether it would do what you suggest. Okay, for engineering. Which magnetic pulse? Each of the targets within 30 feet of you and with less than 3/4 cover. Yeah, that definitely is the case. Must make an intelligence saving throw. Yep.
So I am going to EMP pulse like nobody's business.
Okay. I think that's a wise idea. All right, let's see if they make it. Now, it's got to make an intelligence saving throw. Do you have on your sheet? Do you have your sheet in front of you? Can you tell me what the difficulty is that they have to overcome?
This is the part that I just never quite understand. So the difficulty is, so like my wisdom modifier is +4 and my proficiency bonus is 2. So is it like 6 added to 10 or something?
Right. So your forging saving throw DC is 8 plus your proficiency bonus, which you said is what?
2.
10 plus your wisdom modifier is what?
4.
There you go. So it's 14.
14.
So they need to beat a 14. All right. So let's see if they do that. The one dealing with Aramis certainly does not. The one that's dealing with Kaz does. So the one that is dealing with Aramis does this bzzz, like starts, kind of like zing back and forth. You see like lightning kind of arcing over its body. And so at the moment it is just not able to do anything at the moment, although it will have an opportunity to operate at the start of your next turn. So it is out of commission for a little while anyway. It can try to dodge, but that's pretty much it. So it's what do you want to do move-wise, if anything?
I think I'm going to stay put for right now.
All right. In that case, it is Aramis and Petra will be on deck. Aramis, this buzzing, stunned thing is currently convulsing in front of you.
I'm going to make an attack with lightning whip.
Okay. All right.
Hold on just 1 second. Let me go ahead and do that. That would be something like that. And how about a 15?
That will definitely hit.
13 points of damage.
Nice.
That is a lot of damage.
Coalesce the energy around this thing.
Yep. You so you smash into it. Let's see, and it's of course already been hit once by Kaz. So yeah, you slam into it with your lightning whip, and you see blackened pieces of metal. You see one piece of metal actually falls off it as it continues to sort of convulse. So you have definitely damaged this thing. It doesn't look close to destruction yet, but you've definitely given it what for, as they say. And you're pretty much staying where you are. Now, you could move out of the way of this thing if you want, because it cannot get an attack of opportunity against you right now because it's too busy convulsing. So you could move out of the way if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to move this direction and give Petra a nice clear line of sight for her to bring the hammer.
Hey, speaking of Petra, Petra, you have a convulsing creature that's been hit with a lot of electricity convulsing in front of you.
So I am going to use this time my voltaic charge power, which adds 1d4 damage, and there is no saving throw. It looks like when I read the description.
That sounds awesome. I'm actually going to look this up myself. Voltaic charge. Let's see. Oh, am I looking? No. You are a sentinel, aren't you? Aren't you a sentinel?
I am a sentinel. It's on page 270.
Oh, I'm looking at. Okay, it's talents. I'm looking under your original skills. Right. So we'll take charge. Imbue your weapon. Yeah, nice, excellent. And that lasts for up to a minute. So that is good stuff. All right. Yeah, feel free to hit the living hell out of it. Oh well. Or the deck.
I do not hit. I like slam. My hammer slams down, crackling with energy, an inch away from its head.
It's mostly because it's kind of acting erratically, so it zigs when you try to zag, and unfortunately, I assume you're going to stay where you are though, next to it.
Yes.
Okay. That will leave us back up to Kaz. Kaz, you are up next. This thing is in your grill again.
All right. I'm going to stay alive. And I'm going to pull out my energy coil that I use to heal myself, because that's the only way I can be healed.
Okay.
And I'm going to use that on myself. I forget if we said that was an action or bonus, but basically I have to make sure that it's charged, which it is. And then we've said before that it's a D6 plus my con modifier.
I'll say that's a bonus action, so you can do
Perfect. All right, so I will roll that right now. My con
Petra is trying to intimidate it, yes. This is coming for you! Like, I am Thor!
All right, I get 5 health back.
Okay.
So there's that. And then, so that leaves me with action. I'm going to... Let's see. I'm pretty sure that if I'm trying to attack with a ranged weapon in melee, then I have disadvantage, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So, can you remind me how your disengage rules work again?
So your disengage to disengage, you need to back up 5 feet, or move 5 feet. That you can do that without incurring an attack. If you just try to move normally out of its space, then it can hit you with an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Unless it's convulsing because it's been hit by energy.
Okay. How far is the drop from the railing that we're on to the level below?
That
right here.
Yeah, so it's about 15 feet from the first floor, or from your floor, excuse me, all the way down to the hold. But there is like a sub level, like you can see there, kind of like a sub layer. So it's probably like 5 feet down to that, and then another 10 feet down to the hold itself.
Okay. Would it be possible for me to use my whatever's left of my action and movement to try to both disengage from this and basically vault over this railing and down to this level down here?
You can double move because you haven't done anything else. So other than the bonus action, which doesn't count towards your actions. So if you disengage and jump, that would get you there, wherever there is. Yeah, you're going to want to, if you want to avoid this thing safely, you probably are going to want to be here, like that side of it, you know what I mean?
Do I have movement left to do that?
Yeah. That's about 5. It's about the same 5 feet. And then.
Oh, so and was this using my action?
Yeah, this is using, and you're basically doing. If you're doing a double move, you can use the other part to get all the way to the hold, to the bottom.
Okay.
Now the question is, do you want to try to jump that, or do you want to try to go over and take the ladder? If you go over and take the ladder, and then go down, because this thing is a large creature, it could literally reach over and try to basically smack you on the way by, because you're not that far from it. Like I said, it's only like 5 feet this sub level from the level above. So you'd have to avoid that. You'd have to jump from where you are 10 feet, which is not like an impossible jump, but you are going to need to double check, as you have to make an athletics check or a dexterity check to avoid face planting.
But that's from jumping from this dotted line level
Correct, that's
down
right.
to the bottom.
Right.
If I just wanted to stay here, do I have movement left to keep moving like
yes,
like that?
Yes, probably about, you could probably go another 5 feet even.
Okay. So like here?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, so I just, and I don't have to make a roll for the initial jump from here
No,
to here?
because it's 5 feet. That's no.
Yeah, so Kaz just takes out his coil and charges himself up a little bit, and then ducks under one of the razor claws of this, and then just runs. So now he's on the kind of sub level.
Okay.
And
Basically
then,
fighting on a catwalk is what you're doing.
Yep. And then he's gonna turn around and just be ready for whatever happens next, and that's it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I already used the bonus. So yeah.
Okay. So this creature sort of looks at you, and again, these things fight totally silently. So it just looks in your direction for a minute, then looks up and sees Sleepwell, and leaps forward. Leaps forward, and is going to try to attack. Let's see. I bet Sleepwell felt he was on the catwalk, if you know what I'm saying. Let's see. That is going to be a 7, though, to hit, which I think is not going to do it.
Does not.
Okay, so you sort of duck underneath it as it swings wildly at you, and then just sort of looks at you in its odd, unusual way. This other creature, convulsing, seems to be trying to kind of maneuver so that it can avoid whatever attack is going to come next. And that's going to lead us to the aforementioned Sleepwell. And Aramis is on deck here.
So I am now wondering. I am caught off guard by this. Ruined the plan.
This is not what I expected.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Damn it, really. Damn it.
Yeah. So I am wondering if I have enough room here to basically disengage far enough to get off a laser shot, so I can get basically far enough away. So if I'm basically moved like this way to get out of melee range, can I disengage as my movement and then take a shot with a laser blast?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Okay, let me think though. Can you get around it? No, you can't get around it. If you can, now what you can do is you can do the same thing basically that Kaz just did. You can disengage while jumping over that little wall to the sub-level below. You wouldn't even need to make a roll for that. However, if you then tried to double move sort of the way he did, yeah, that's the problem. You won't be able to do that. You'll be able to go, you'd be able to go directly here. Like you could go jump straight down basically because Petra's in the way. So you could go straight here and that won't provoke an attack. Once you're there, if you try to go like this way towards Kaz or whatever, then you could provoke an attack because you're too close to him at that point, even though you are one level below at 5 feet below because of its size.
Yeah, it's mostly I'm trying to see if I can get a clear shot with the laser blast.
I would say if you're on the sub level, you can probably get that without it doing an attack of opportunity on you there because you'll be below its obvious sight line. I mean, it can see you as you run past it, but if you're just shooting from down below, I think you could do that. So you could disengage and sort of onto this, basically, and then shoot up at it if you wish.
That is what I'm going to do.
Drop a grenade and jump and use the catwalk floor as cover. That'd be a great idea, except unfortunately, Petra would be left behind to take the full blow of the grenade.
All right, so I am rolling now to do the laser blast attack.
Okay.
That's a miss.
Unfortunately, yeah. You sort of get on the other side, fire up, blast ricochets off the roof and misses it. And the creature sort of looks down and back up. Okay, and you are now there. That's going to lead us to Aramis, and Petra is on deck. Aramis, this creature is no longer convulsing in front of you. It is now, again, sort of functional.
That worked for me once. Let's try lightning whip again.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 probably is not going to hit.
Probably not. And actually, for the lightning whip, did you want to move away a little bit? Because technically you're still in melee range of it, if that's a ranged attack. You could do it before because it was convulsing and like so you could get an attack on it without it doing anything to you. But since this is technically ranged and not melee, you would need to back up a few feet if you wanted to do that.
Okay, but then it would. Is it in the doorway such that I could do that?
Yeah, you'd still be able to hit it because it's halfway out. So.
All right, then I would have been right there.
Yeah, still a miss, but but you're there, so
Okay.
that's fine.
And I'm not going to move at all. I'm just
Okay.
going to hold my.
That
my
leads
ground.
us to Petra, and Kaz will be on deck. Petra, do you want to try to rivet this again? Ship maintenance.
Yes, I'm going to swing my hammer mightily once more. And this time I roll an 8.
More and more damage to the floor, though. You are this ship is being told in no uncertain terms. Don't forget, chat, by the way, that inspirations are available for this party. Don't forget that is always a possibility.
Petra, I think we, when you attack with your hammer, I think we found out that it's a +5 in general.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
right.
think that changes whether
That's
this.
right.
You are
It still is
correct.
not a hit, but that is a good point. Yes.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, and that is going to lead us to Kaz, who is on deck, or who is going rather. So
Yeah.
Kaz, you are good to go. You actually have clean shots on anybody you want. Party members, enemies, you can shoot whoever you like.
On anyone,
It's a target-rich environment.
Say that. The entire-
Please don't encourage him.
Okay, so
You just look at everyone and go, exterminate.
I am the leader of the Ganassi.
My brothers.
So this, so the hold is only 10 feet across, it looks like, unless I vaguely remember, I think it was that these squares were more than one. Because then this, the hold would only be 10 feet across.
Well, let me think
Which,
about
if
that,
it
actually.
is-
So 10, 20, 30 minutes. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right. It probably is 10-foot squares, actually. Yeah, I'm sorry. It doesn't have a scale on the map, so
Okay.
that's why I didn't know. Yeah, it probably is 10 feet. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to keep changing up and down. But
It's okay.
it is 10 feet because otherwise the ship would only be 40 feet large and it's wider than that. So, yeah,
All right.
80 feet. Sorry, everyone. I don't have a gauge here.
So with that in mind, because I'm trying to know for my sniper range, so I'm gonna, let's see, so 5, 10.
So you're about 35 or so from
Yeah.
this one over here.
So I'm gonna back up to here.
Okay.
So that's 10 feet of movement. I'm gonna back up to there, and then I'm gonna take a sniper shot right across the way at the one right across from me.
Okay. The one above
All
above Sleepwell, yeah?
Yeah.
So Sleepwell just sees you like taking aim in his direction, and then you're like, ah, and then like flips, aim higher. Okay.
Okay, and then I think this is just a normal attack, no minuses anymore. All right. So that's a 22 to hit.
Definitely a hit for sure.
Cool. So that's going to be 2d8 plus 2, I believe. 17
Wow.
points of
Nice.
Just slams into the side of this thing. This shot like barely misses Sleepwell. Like it slams to this thing like against the door, kind of slams into it with this big metallic crack. And I assume you lower your weapon with a
Yes.
type of thing, like
Yeah, this thing is powerful, but it uses my action and my bonus, so that's the caveat there. But so I'll lower the sniper, and then I'll just take a quick glance to my side just to make sure there's not another one. Like I don't suddenly have another one behind me. Like I'm not spawning these things somehow. And then that's my turn.
Yeah, unfortunately you're on the spawning trigger. No, you're fine with that. Okay, now the bad guys go. So this one, let's see. What is it going to do? This one is going to come up to Petra. So because its targets keep vanishing on it, like and jumping down to like lower levels. So this one is going to come up on Petra, and this time it is going to lash out Petra with its tail, and try to smack you with its tail. So let's see how it does with that. I don't think that's going to get the job done. A 10 is not going to hit, right?
12 is needed to hit.
Okay, so it misses you as you manage to nimbly dodge out of the way. And that leads to this second one, which emerges, and seeing another target, also decides that it will try to hit you with, let's say, a tail lash. I like this idea. Tail lashes from both sides. So the other one is going to get a 17. So that is going to hit, I believe. And that is going to... Ugh. That is going to do 15 points of damage.
Oh,
yeah, you got hit
no.
by this tail. Also, I will need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please. You were hit by this thing which looks almost like a stinger on its tail as it smacks you. Yeah, okay, so you feel...
I have saving throw advantage on poison.
Ah, that is exactly what this is. Roll that again.
I read my character.
Although you might have made it anyway, we don't know. But...
Oh, crap.
Well, I'm glad you have to...
Well.
You'll be happy to know that the 12 is enough. You feel this sort of beginning like feeling of acidic burning in the wound, but then you sort of brush it aside. Your Ashen Forge constitution resistant to this creature's poison, and you are not able. It is not able to poison you. However, it was able to give you a good what for, so that is going to lead us now to Sleepwell with Aramis on deck. So, Sleepwell, you're now below this thing. Both of these creatures have now been damaged.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just take another laser blast shot at the creature closer to me,
Okay.
to the left of Petra from our view here.
Got it. Okay. So you're going to sort of duck to one knee and then...
Right. So take the shot. It's a 12.
12 is not enough. That just misses. Again, ricochets off the back wall, and not enough. Movement at all?
If I attempt to... Well, can I disengage? Maybe like...
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll do a disengage move, maybe, what, about 5 feet? So it puts
That would
me
be
right
about there.
in the middle of
Yep.
the square?
That's fine.
All right.
And you're now clear of that, and that leads us to Aramis with Petra on deck. Aramis, as I said, both of these things have been damaged. In fact, the one close to you has been more damaged than the other, but they both been damaged.
Second verse, same as the first. Let's go ahead and do that again.
Lightning whip. Yep.
How about a 19?
Hit, for sure.
7.
Okay. This thing is now starting to look pretty messed up. You've hit it a bunch of times. Again, blackened, darkened sort of plates that sort of fall off it a couple of times. So this thing is definitely starting to... You've made some serious inroads on this thing. Okay, and are you staying where you are, or are you moving at all?
Absolutely. There's nothing else I can do at this point.
In that case, Petra, you were up. Kaz is on deck. Petra, what do you want to do? You've got two things around you. Both of them are problematic.
I'm going to hit this one.
Probably, but not in both directions.
Maybe.
Fantastic, unfortunately. Okay, so you can turn and hit as you wish. Still got your voltaic charge on it. Hey, there you go.
There's a roll.
Max damage. Give me that max damage. So what is your max damage? And then you're going to roll a 1d4 on top of it. So what's your max damage, first of all, on this thing, on this hammer?
11. 8 plus 3. So then
Sounds about right. So 11 damage?
plus 4.
Wow.
Oh.
15
Look at
damage.
that.
Okay, let me make sure that I
Wow.
know which one. This was the one that was... This was that one that was on the other side that he just did. Yeah, you knock it into next week. You slam it, and it literally... You basically bash it into two sets of parts. This metal goes flying across the room and sort of lands right near, basically what's left of it sort of lands right near Aramis, sliding along the ground, and expires. All right, you smacked the living hell out of it. Yeah, exactly. Final Fantasy victory music. Although there's one more. The other one says, "My brother." No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. Okay, are you going to stay? So are you as you sort of did that? Are you turning back around to stay connected to this one?
I am turning to look meaningfully at the other one.
All right. Do you want that same treatment? Okay, Kaz, you were up.
All right, I'm gonna second verse, same as the first, as I heard someone say right next to me.
You're gonna Black Widow it.
Sniper shot at the remaining one.
By the way, this is completely like whenever Rich sees the VOD of this, Rich, this is totally stolen from Black Widow, and from Mass Effect 3, and I approve of this weapon because that weapon is the greatest weapon of all recorded time. All right, Infiltrator for life. I'll tell you right now.
What are you talking about?
The Black Widow sniper rifle weapon in Mass Effect is ridiculous. Like and it has this incredibly satisfying like sound when you. Oh man, it is the best.
You need to play that game, Clay.
They are so good. Actually, it's in Mass Effect 2 also. I had this. There was this creature. You know the Harbingers, right?
Yes.
The Harbinger. So the thing that does the no, not the Harbinger, the Collectors.
The Geth?
The guy who keeps saying no, the Collectors. That keep saying things like assuming direct control.
Yes.
That jackass did that just before I headshotted someone with a Black Widow, and it was the most assuming direct. Like it was the most satisfying like Black Widow shot ever. So anyway, sorry.
I missed the Mass Effect games. The last one I played was Mass Effect 2. But
Mass Effect 3 was pretty solid too, but oh man, they were also good. Anyway, go ahead and make that happen. Make us feel that same way here, guys.
all right, hopefully. So I'm just gonna aim up and try to make a similar shot. So it's a 13.
That will hit.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not quite a headshot, but
I had a feeling it wouldn't be as good of a roll because we talked about it so much.
so the gods were like, I can't do that. No.
All right. So same old 13 points of
Wow,
damage.
so much damage. All right. So you
But I can
slam
do
again in
literally
this
nothing
thing.
else.
Like bam, bam, like twice. It is looking very messed up now. Not dead yet, not destroyed yet, but very messed up.
Okay.
And now it is going to attempt to, at this point, slash out on Petra, who's right in front of it. And it will attack with its hand razors and miss terribly with an 8, which I guess is what happens when you've been slammed by, the Black Widow 3 times. All right, and it's going to stay right there. Sleep well, you were up.
This time I'm going to attack with Acid Blast.
Okay.
Let's do the same kind of roll. I think it's a miss again. It's a 12.
Yeah,
Darn it.
close, but still not quite. Close. So unfortunately, it splashes harmlessly behind it instead of landing on it. Are you staying where you are movement-wise?
I am.
Okay, then in that case, it's Aramis and Petra is up next. By the way, there is a Mass Effect RPG, a homebrew one, that was done by someone that Kat, and I don't know if you know, Carlos, but Eric's got to be. I know Kat would know. And Eric has done a Mass Effect homebrew RPG, which is pretty sweet, actually. I always was like, I wish you could get the rights for it to be able to do it as an actual, release it as a game, because I think it's pretty cool. But anyway.
Is it 5e based?
No, it was his own system actually, and it was this is basically 2 years ago, maybe 3, that he was first running this that I saw. So it was pretty cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
All right, let me take a look at the map again. This thing is behind Petra, so it's not going to be easy for me to actually get a direct line of sight shot on.
Yes, although it is large, but probably not large enough that you could get a big shot on it. If you were to also vault the rail, and go down below, you could get a shot up that way, which is basically what your 2 companions have done.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to vault the rail.
That's interesting, Rockon.
Try not to stand in front of Kaz's way, and then take a shot.
Okay. Just shoot and then flat the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that 7?
Not going to get it done, unfortunately. You were sort of thrown off by jumping off onto that rail, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a bad choice on my part.
And so now you're going to, I assume, flatten yourself to allow Kaz to do his thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, my sniper shots are perfectly in tempo, so he just has to go boom, 2,
Bam,
3, 4.
Right, exactly. You're basically an ion cannon. Okay, Petra, you were up. Kaz is on deck.
Attempt to hit this thing in the Is it 10 hit?
10 is not going to do it, I'm afraid. Nope. So this thing manages to duck out of the way as you aim for it and miss. And it clacks its razors at you. Assuming you're staying next to it,
Yes.
Kaz, you are up.
Okay.
And that D6 system is not the same one he used, but that is cool. I didn't know that they had that, but no, that isn't the one he was using.
Okay. I think third verse, same as the first and second.
Okay.
And I'm going to go for another shot. That's 19 plus 6, which is a crit on the sniper also.
That will definitely hit.
So that's max damage, which is 16 plus 2, so 18.
Oh, right, you have critical hit range. Yeah, wow, that's right.
Yeah.
So literally this thing was barrel, like just, explode, like 3 shots from you, essentially. And this thing gets blown into next week. Parts shower all over, Petra is like trying to avoid like flying razor bits and stuff like this. And one narrowly misses Sleepwell on the deck below, on the sort of sub area below. And then an eerie silence settles in over the ship again.
Look back at Kaz. Nice shooting. Just make sure I'm not in the way next time.
Yeah, next time throw the grenade.
I don't have grenades. Don't look at me.
You guys, you want to get back up there and figure out what's in this galley?
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go and take a look at Petra and assess her wounds, and I think probably heal her.
Okay.
I approve of this.
I'm gonna make my way back up.
Okay.
Same.
Also, me too. So.
Or yeah, I'll just climb up like Artemis and be cool. It's only 5 feet, so
You just kinda,
like I
pull
start
yourself
heading
over.
towards the ladder, but then I see Artemis like just go straight up the railing, and I'm like, oh,
So then, pretending you meant that all along, you're like,
yeah,
swing your
Yeah, I
arm,
had to
like.
go grab one of my bullet shells or something. Oh.
Oh man! Then you spin your sniper rifle for added effect before, just to compensate.
Well, it's in my arm, so I just go like.
Yeah, that's true.
weird
Well, wait.
jerky
Yeah. Okay, that's true. That's true. All right. So you are now on. You're on the same level as everyone else again. And Sleepo, when you look, you can see that the cuts and the effect. Actually, what Petra was dealing with is basically this nasty-looking puncture wound from the tail lash that she received, although it is not poisoned, apparently.
So I think I'll start by using a mend power here.
Okay.
So that heals for 9 now.
Nice.
All right, Petra, feeling hale and hearty.
Much better. Thank you. Thank you.
That'll at least keep us going for a little bit, I think.
All right. I'm ready, Artemis.
And we move into the room.
Okay, so inside the room, as I mentioned that you thought you saw from the drone, besides the shattered pieces of what's left of this Sleepwell's drone, you actually see, as I mentioned, this table that's basically right in the center of the room. There are some tilted mugs, and there's actually a couple of what look like mugs and the like that are on the ground as well. No liquid anymore. That presumably has evaporated long since. There is on the back here sort of a stove, basically. What looks like kind of an electric plate of some kind, presumably where things could be heated up, and maybe an oven. And then there are some cabinets here that are lining the walls.
So I'm going
First
to do.
thing-
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. You
I was
go
gonna
first.
say, like, instantly I'm looking at the ceiling, especially, and seeing if there's anything else there, and then just opening all the cabinets.
Make a perception check for me, and then we'll have you open the cabinets.
Okay. It's a 19.
No, it looks just like a ceiling. You don't see any shimmering or anything like that up there. And you don't really sense anything around you either other than your companions as they move through the room. When you open the cabinets, what you find there mostly are what look like cloths of some kind, sort of this sort of soft cloth material that seems to be piled up. And then there seem to be some kind of metalloplastic kind of plates that are here stacked up as well and currently being unused. Other than that, you don't notice anything within the cabinets that seems unusual to you. Also, no food or anything of the kind that you can discover here. What about everyone else?
Not seeing much of interest. I guess Kaz just goes back out and just kind of waits, and also is just looking down the hold and making sure that no other things are coming or... Well, actually, yeah, he's just going to wait outside.
Okay.
Just look.
Everything seems quiet at the moment. Okay. And Petra, where are you staying where you are, or what are you doing?
Follow Kaz out and also sort of scan to keep things from marching up behind it.
Okay. At the moment, everything seems to be quiet, you believe.
Aramis is going to make his way across to the other door.
Okay.
And stick his head in there.
So, on this side,
Yeah, I'll go
we're
with
attacked
him.
by 5. No. On this side, as you're looking to get a sense of what might be there, on this side you see what looks just like basically a oval table basically in the middle of the room with chairs around it, with seats around it, but the table has nothing else on it. Unlike the other room, there are no mugs, there are no cabinets or any kind of stove or anything on this side. This might be like a conference room. There is what looks like some kind of a screen, like a vid screen over here, but it's currently dark and off.
All right. Can I do a perception check to kind of, get a real, feel for if there's anything in this room?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. About a 13.
Yeah, nothing in particular. It seems like whatever this thing was, it could have been waiting in the room for a while. There are no bodies in here, though, so you don't know if that would suggest that either this thing was just hanging out, like here, which seems unlikely, or it was able to get in here, or perhaps could have been shut in here by the crew when they were first fighting these, when it first escaped from, its wherever it was being held. But there's nothing else in here that seems to indicate anything about anything unusual about this room, other than it being more or less a conference room. That's true. There's no stale donuts and coffee rings on the table. That's true. Nonetheless. So, Sleepwell, are you, as you're sort of looking around here, are you taking any of these things that you're finding, which are mostly just sort of plates and cloths, or are you leaving them?
Oh, I'm unloading them basically. I want to get like a thorough search of everything here. So I'm basically just like unloading plates and stuff and trying to get a sense of everything that could be in the cabin.
Okay. As you're doing that, do an investigation check for me, please.
All right. Not very good. A 6.
No, pretty much just, what you think you see is what you get. Not very exciting. Mostly just plates and cloths and not a lot else in between them or stacked next to them in this place.
Okay. So at this point then, I'm going to just kind of like walk myself out, kind of put myself next to Petra and say, okay, guys, we need to like do this slowly. Let's get to like one room and secure it.
I walk back over. Yeah, I didn't imagine that the door behind me would open and have another one in it. So, yeah, let's stick together.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Lead the way then.
So which one next?
So I'm gonna put myself right here, and like histrionically, stealthily, just kind of be like, and just kind of like listen very carefully and try to be stealth ops here.
Okay. Make a perception check for me, please.
22.
So you do not hear anything in here at all. Very quiet. There's no buzzing or anything else that you can hear through the door here.
Too quiet though, in that
In a silent, sort of deadly way. No, no, just the same quiet as the rest of the ship, but not deathly quiet.
Okay, so I just again
Oh,
like histrionically stealth ops. I'm like, okay, it's go time. Right?
wasn't there as Sleepwell's getting hyped up
Yeah.
and ready to go into the room?
You're talking at normal volume. Hey guys, wasn't there a, like?
Wasn't there, Mr. DM, a change in like temperature or feeling that we had whenever these creatures were around?
Yes, and not temperature. There was a feeling of sort of deadness in the air, and that was you did not notice that until these things attacked you because they were inside these rooms until they jumped out. I should have described that when you were fighting them, but yes, there is no sense of deadness in the air here, at least not that you've found so far.
But there also wasn't when we were outside the door where they attacked
Correct.
us, right?
That's right. You do not feel it until the doors were open.
All right.
So
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
so again I start gather around. We're going, ready to run in. Hammer out, ready.
Okay.
Very I'm saying these things.
Is the guy not running into the front? I'd recommend that you change your description of the tactic a little bit. We should be a little bit more cautious instead of running into a room.
Cause
I
his
step in
arm
the
is a
door.
weird look.
And then I step in the door.
Do you like push by him as he's doing his thing to do that? He's like, okay, be quiet.
Yes.
You just like push him out. So when you open the door, what you find here there are a few. This obviously seems like a crew quarters because there are a few what look like bunk beds, or so I should say bunks, not bunk beds, bunks, along the back here. 3 of them, and then there is what looks like maybe like a sink of some kind over here, and then there is this, which is leading down somewhere. You don't know exactly where it's leading, but somewhere.
I follow in grumpily at this point.
I come in behind and I kind of pat Sleepwell on the shoulder and say, "It's okay. I like your plans and I validate them. They're good. It's all right. Don't worry."
Thank you.
All right.
So I turn to everyone, assuming Petra also makes her way inside.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So would we like to clear the rest of the ship, or is our goal here to clear the rest of the ship and then get the ship to function? Because as far as we know, Spindra has left us dead in the water or in this void.
Dead in the space.
Dead
That's-
in space.
I think that's an excellent plan. We clear the ship and then we go.
Okay.
While they're talking, I'm going to take a peek down this shaftway, and again, I can see in the dark, so I want
Yes.
to see what I can see.
This does not lead to the hold. At least you don't see any light from it. This is a darkened room. You can see at the bottom. You can't really make out except that the room goes. It seems to open up in a room underneath the one in which you're standing, but you don't see anything obvious. You need to go down the ladder a little bit to be able to, actually see what's in the room beyond it. Like all this looks like is it just leads down to the floor, and you don't know the floor of what, but it's definitely not connecting to the hold.
So I'm going to lie flat and just kind of peek my head in, minimally to see what I can do to scan them.
Okay. On one side, this is a smaller room, and I'm going to draw it for just a moment in my not very practiced way. So the room is basically this large. Okay. And over on this side, you see what looks like a essentially a toilet, latrine facility, if you had to guess. And then there is another sink over here, and there's what might be some kind of an old sort of shower style facility or kind of hygiene station, they would call them in the newer ships, but this actually looks a little bit older than that, and it is again down below. So this looks like basically a bathroom of some kind, but you've never really had the experience of accessing a bathroom from above through a ladder. And there's no doors, obvious doors in and out on this bottom level.
So I kind of pop up and say, hey, it's a bathroom down the stairs.
That's weird. Maybe because it's a smuggling ship, it was a weird way of conserving space.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just take myself down there. Just take a little walk.
Okay. When you go down there, it is sort of what it seems to be. There is a sink. There is essentially like a shower. There is a toilet down there. There doesn't seem to be any. It's sort of pretty Spartan. I mean, there's nothing really. There's certainly no decorations or vid screens or anything like that down there. It's just a bathroom. That's what it looks like.
Or is it?
So no point in an investigation kind of check or a perception check?
You could do that if you want. I mean, but you'd have to tell me, like, are you, the sink, or like what specifically are you, investigating? Because there's not even like a the equivalent of a medicine cabinet or anything like that. All this stuff seems pretty exposed, more or less, to the air. I mean, I guess you could investigate the toilet, for a closed item if you wish.
When was this last used?
I want to do a perimeter check where I go from, I basically just walk the walls and just kind of like tap and feel.
Okay.
Especially in this part right here, where it seems like it doesn't extend as far as the room above it.
Make an investigation check for me.
Wow.
Nice.
As you are tapping along that wall, it all sounds like sort of like normal tick, 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 and then there's a donk. Like suddenly you hit a hollow space right up here.
Nice.
Guys!
What?
And, I basically just quickly run back up I think I found something. Maybe like a hollow space.
Do you need our help?
Yeah.
Let's go take a look.
I go down.
Okay. So at the moment, you sort of, and those of you who cannot see in the dark can't really see very well unless you are using some kind of like lanterns or looking for. You could actually just look and see if there is a button to trigger a light down here. That's possible because the power is on in most of the ship.
I think all of us can see in the dark.
If all of you can see in the dark, then that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I don't remember if can Ashen Forge see in the dark.
Ashen Forge can't see in the dark. But
Okay,
you have
so
dark
then
vision.
you're all good then. You're all night visioning it up.
I still look for a light switch.
Okay, you do find one.
You gotta be that guy. You gotta be that guy, right?
You do find one, and you don't even tell everyone to shield your eyes. You're like, ah! It's like my students after watching a film clip, and they're just like, oh god!
Yes, I do exactly that.
Okay.
Right,
So
what did you find? Sleep well.
So I bang on the hollow spot again.
clang, 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 like definitely
The wall.
something hollow behind it.
So, of course I'm trying to feel around to see if I handle or anything, but I'm expecting to bust through this wall. But I'm looking to see if there's anything hingy to pull open.
There doesn't feel like there's anything hingy, but it definitely feels like this wall is thinner than the wall next to it. Obviously, there's something hollow behind it, but it also doesn't even feel like it's the same consistency. Feels like this metal is newer, for one thing.
Yeah, so it is metal. So is it riveted in?
No, it's newer metal, and it may have been welded into place, possibly. It's a little bit hard to tell.
So I
There-
sort of bang on and say, like, how can we get through this piece of metal?
Yeah. How do we
Well-
get behind there?
There are some harvesting, like mining supplies that we saw in the registry, right? We could go grab a drill or something. But do we really want to drill into a hollow spot of this ship? I mean, I'm also curious, but I don't know. I would rather continue just looking through the rooms. It's up to you.
I mean, I wanna
Sleepwell,
know-
I designate you as leader of the group.
I'm enjoying watching Sleepwell sneak, and I think that's a fine move. I second the motion. He is now the leader.
I agree.
Sleepwell is disturbed by the newfound confidence.
Both flattered and troubled by this new
Yeah.
revelation.
Well, does anybody have anything on them that could get through that piece of metal?
I could shoot at it.
I got a hammer.
We say optimistically.
Petra, why don't you try a hammer blow or two?
Okay.
So go ahead. You're going to do that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have you make an attack roll, believe it or not. This is to basically see the nature of how you hit it.
God, so many possibilities. How about a 24?
Yeah, you slam into it. Roll damage for me, please.
1D asterisk. How about a 4?
Even so, when your thing hits it, it folds in around the hammer like you were hitting putty. This is definitely not strong metal. This clearly was not intended to hold up to, like sustained attack. It's not quite broken through, but it's like you made a big hammer-sized hole, like a dent in it.
Impression.
Yes.
Is there enough that I could kind of like grab it and peel it back?
No, because it went in, not out.
Okay.
You'd have to hit again and hope you can knock it through the other side.
Well, unless someone else is going to mess with it, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, this
Go
is more
ahead.
welded than riveted. Fantastic. It's not riveted.
So speak now, because I'm ready. I'm raising the hammer.
Do it.
Last second, like Aramis, no, jumps in front.
22.
Hit.
Nice.
Definite hit. Go ahead and make your damage again.
It's like your best rolls of the night.
Yeah, you can hit walls.
Yeah,
Creatures.
You are destroyer of walls.
I smashed that thing.
You
I
did.
made
You did. You smacked it in next week.
it the third time. So there's 5 damage.
Okay. So yeah, you
Please.
smash it in the rest of the way. And it goes, that second one, bang, opens up, and the bottom sort of square, so there's basically a 5-foot square and a 5-foot square. The bottom 5-foot square is now inside on the ground, kind of rattling back and forth because it was curved, so it's like, as you hit it. And so you could now actually bend down and go inside if you wanted to see what's in this room or
I
spot.
want to see what's in this room.
Okay, so on this right over here, where Kaz is now standing, get out of there. Where Kaz is now standing, right on the inside here, there is what looks like basically there is a crate, 2 metal crates right next to each other, one here, and then there's another metal crate right here. And on top of the metal crate is what looks like a data pad of some kind, fairly large and currently turned off.
I pat Sleepwell on the back. I think you were right. That's a good find.
Oh.
I go over to the data pad and pick it up.
Okay. So when are you going to try to turn it on?
Yeah.
So when you turn it on, and it fires right up, and it has a password setting on the front of it. which is a little old school, frankly. Like, this is the world of biometrics, so passwords are not, but this thing has a password.
And how big is this thing?
It's pretty good size. It's like the size of the Esper Genesis core rulebook, brought to you by Alligator Alley Entertainment.
Okay.
It is basically that size.
All right, I walk over and stand next to Sleepwell and say, you were using the computer a lot. It's asking for a password. Do you have any idea what it might be? Do any of us... I try to type in Tangirl first.
No, nothing happens. It just when you type it in, it just clears out again. When you try to tap the enter, it just kind of clears out as if you hadn't put anything in at all.
We have the bracelet that the captain's torso is still wearing. I could try that, or I could just try to use my analyze device function on it and see if I can figure that out.
Go ahead. And I pass it to him.
I tried the analyze device prime power to see if I can use that to get in.
Prime power.
So, let me take a look and see, by the way, what... Okay, so you still need to make appropriate checks to access data from the device, but what you discover is that this is indeed an older data pad, probably almost 15 years old, which is like centuries in terms of overall. It's a long, it's very old. But that means it's older technology with which you're generally not familiar. But it is definitely needs a password to be able to get into it. Many of these older ones actually were hardwired such that the data was not really accessible. Like there were no removable chips or anything like that. So you had to be able to get into it or somehow rig it to be connected to a computer. But there was nothing removable from this thing. It was all sort of manufactured of a piece.
So it looks like we're looking for a password, folks. It doesn't look like I'll be able to get into this without actually knowing that. I wonder what's in that stupid file we couldn't get into earlier.
Look for a post-it.
Yeah. We flipped the data pad over as it looked.
Yeah, right, as it right in the back. No, unfortunately, there is nothing on the back. Although, I mean, you certainly could try just a few random passwords in there if you wished. I mean, all it did was it just cleared out the one that he entered when he tried, so that obviously wasn't the right one.
I type, because we know that this ship used to be Spindra's old ship, right?
Correct. She didn't own it, but she worked on it.
Yeah. What was the name of the captain again? I don't remember, but I think
his name was Jarva.
I'm going to type in every variation of capital and non-capital Jarva that I could try.
None of those seem to work. In fact, it actually seems to be about 8 letters long.
Oh. Okay. Do we know if Sprocket was Spindra's dog on the Pocostomus specifically, or was Sprocket originally on this ship?
You don't know.
Okay.
Type in Sprocket just in case.
I type in Sprocket.
That does not work.
Oh, okay.
What was the captain's? I'm sorry, the person whose torso was cut in half, was that Jarva?
No, well, no. I mean, you have no idea for sure, but you don't know if it was it was a torso. You don't know if it was the captain's torso, but you don't know for sure that it was Jarva.
It was just a torso.
just a generic torso.
Yeah, that's in the credit line in the movie for this.
Torso 1, torso number 2.
Right. There are 16 torsos in all.
All right, maybe one of us can just type passwords incessantly as we continue searching the ship, or we could go back to the cockpit and mess around with data again.
Well,
Can I ask?
It's up to you, leader. I look at you.
Can I ask for the DM's indulgence?
What's that?
Well, so I've got this little level 2 ability, and I'll link it. But it requires a specific kit to be able to use it. We haven't actually been in a place where I can actually make an attempt to acquire something, so I'm kind of hoping for a little indulgence.
Okay, let me see the description of the kit and the thing. Black hat, using a hacker's kit. What I will say is that you can try to assemble pieces and things like that from some of the stuff you find within the crates here, because there is a lot of technical stuff. I'll say that you can do that. You can try to assemble it with 2 caveats. 1, it'll take a little time. 2, it's not going to work as well as a, like designed for the purpose hacker's kit. So you'll be doing it at somewhat of a negative. So right now it gives you an intelligence check, right? So you'll be getting a minus to it. But that said, I'll allow you to try to assemble said kit.
Okay, so that means that maybe the difficulty is going to be a lot more significant, but I still am going to get to do it at an advantage.
Yeah, and
because that's the thing, right? Because
yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, advantage, but you'll be doing each of the advantage checks at a minus.
Okay. All right. All right.
And that's right. Fantastic. Yeah, it would be minus 4.
So I look at Sleepwell, Kaz, and Petra, and I say, I might be able to do something with this. I'm going to need to rummage around, but I might have something that works. You want to give it to me?
I mean, I instantly hand it over and say, like, well, before you go anywhere, let's make sure this ship is safe.
Absolutely, but I'm going to scrounge as we go. So if I lag behind, just I have a feeling about this, and I immediately just kind of slide it into my satchel and move with the group, starting to pick and choose these little items to start assembling as we go.
Okay. That sounds
In the
like a plan.
meantime, I'm taking a look at the 2 crates to see, if they look like the other blue crates or if they look like black crates. Like
They look like neither. These look like smaller crates that are not part of the regular ship's sort of systems.
Seem an easy way to open them?
Yeah, well, they look like you will need to... They look as if they are locked. There's a small little keypad, a very simple one, 4 digits only, that you could maybe try to hack, if you wish.
So I kind of tap Aramis and say, like, what about those? Can you do something with that?
Yeah, get a warm-up round.
Did you try turning the starship on or off? You turn it on, you hear bong. Like,
seriously. Okay, so are you guys mechanically, are you guys asking me to use the Black Hat ability or the Black Hat power?
No.
No. I think maybe your computer skills higher than mine, and I could assist you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that then.
Okay.
Where did my character sheet go? Damn it. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So, yeah. How about that? Do I get advantage because he's helping?
Trying to decide if I'm giving him advantage or a plus. How are you helping, Sleepwell?
I mean, it's a 4-digit code, so in the most annoying way possible.
Or you said that they
5555. Just put 5555.
It's a minus 12.
So,
No.
you said that you could try to hack it. So, like, does that insinuate that they're not really using the code, that they're trying to like break into the machinery beneath the keypad? Like, are they actually hacking it, or
that's the question, because you could do that. You could try to be using a mechanics basically check to try to essentially hotwire it, right? Or you could try to be hacking into it by kind of figuring it out. If you're going to use computers, that means you're basically hacking the password again. If you're going to try to with the requisite results, and that wouldn't be advantage. I think it would be a plus. Would probably he'd give you like a +2 or a +3, let's say +3, and that wouldn't be enough. But if you're using mechanics to try to essentially hotwire it, that's another matter. That though, Sleepwell won't really. You both can't do that because the keypad's too small. So one or the other of you would have to do the mechanics check.
So I mean, I think what I had said before was to try to get Aramis to use his computer skill. So I think that's what we were trying to do in that case.
Absolutely.
But I can try the mechanics thing now.
Okay, well, since his computers thing didn't work, you can feel free to try that if you like.
I will.
With your mechanics.
Just a 10.
Yeah, so you feel like this like it's not, it doesn't seem like it's that complicated, but I mean, it is designed to prevent immediate super easy entry. So, yeah.
How big are these crates?
Not very large. They're maybe, maybe...
Like the size of an apple box?
No, a little bigger than that. Like maybe 3 by 3, something like
Okay.
that.
Could I possibly make try to hotwire the other crate?
Sure.
Mechanic?
Yes, you can try to hotwire the other one. Sure.
All right. Before we skedaddle. Let's see. Okay. Okay.
You're like,
no.
oh, just punch the top of it.
That's my attempt.
Why won't this thing?
All right. Okay.
Also, one other note: these things are not like they're not tied down or locked down or welded into the floor. The other crates seem to be like the outside crates in the hold seem like they may have been stacked there, but they also might be held there by sort of clamps. These are not held by clamps. And in fact, they look like they could have been moved in there by an individual or individuals.
I try to pick one up.
You can't pick one up, but you feel like you could drag it. It'd be heavy.
Does it make a sound when you push it?
It does.
Like from stuff on the inside?
That you can't tell. It's more just dragging it along the metal floor.
Like it's too heavy to push over, you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
But you could drag it or pull it. Getting it up the ladder would be, not very likely.
Okay.
Which is interesting because it got down here somehow. But,
yeah. So.
I try 1, 2, 3, 4 on the keypad.
1, 2, 3, 4 does not work.
Just had to try. That's the first hacker trick.
Mm-hmm.
You know. All right, I'm good to go.
So, Sleepwell, sort of like starting to feel like, well, maybe I could be leader. Says, let's check the room on the other side that's basically the same as this one.
Okay.
And I just immediately start moving up the ladder, expecting that I've inspired my crew. And
maybe I do have the power.
Follow.
Okay.
I follow.
All right. Okay. When you go over to, so you're going to head over to this side, to this thing?
Yeah, just
Okay.
basically.
All right. So are you going in, listening? What are you doing?
Yeah, we're basically going to do the same thing as before.
Okay.
Special ops, kind of listening and investigating.
Give me a perception check, please.
18?
Same thing as before. You don't hear anything. There's no deadness of space or anything like that. You do not hear anything inside here.
Okay. So to Kaz, I say, all right, point your sniper rifle inside. I'm going to open the door.
That's not how my sniper works, but
Shit.
I can use my arm pistol. That'll work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just mean like me trying to use my sniper in this room would be like trying to I'll come up with an analogy and
That'll be great. I like to think that as you're doing this, you're still continuing to speak just a normal volume while he's like, okay, that sounds good.
yes, I
Yeah,
will
so
come
what
up
I'm
with
gonna
an
do
analogy
is-
in a couple minutes. Let's open the door, Sleepwell.
So I basically wave my hand in front of it, trying to get it open without actually being in front of it, hoping that Kaz will be.
Yeah, you're...
No such luck until something actually walks in front of it and walks towards it.
All right. Well, I'll walk past it, and so I just kind of like whoop and skedaddle by.
Still doesn't open.
Okay, wait. I turn around and make sure that our other friends are still with us. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I like the idea that they're still back trying every code. 1 2 3 4 1 2 4 3 1 2 5 1
1 1 1 2
1
1 1.
Months pass. Okay. Right. All right. Okay.
I actually go through and open the door.
This looks like a mirror image of the one that you just saw. There are, bunk bed. Again, I keep saying bunk bed, just a bunk, and bunk. And then there is this ladder, again, leading down to the floor below. And there's also a sink over here, as was the case in the other room.
Does it appear as if this bathroom also has a smaller size and might have a...
You'd have to go
cider?
down to look. If you want to go down the ladder and check that, you'd have to be able, because you can't get a good view until you get down into the ladder a little bit.
Oh, okay. Because when you said sink, I thought that you assumed we were already looking down
No,
there.
there's a sink up here. There was a sink
Got
up
it.
here in the other room as well.
Okay. Yeah. So then I peek my head down like Sleepwell did in the last room,
Okay.
and I look down the ladder.
And indeed, there is, again, it is smaller, just the same size as the other room was. Dink, and here, the toilet and stuff is over on this side. And there is, again, like a shower over on that side, and so forth.
All right. I call Petra.
We'll head on over.
Okay.
Look.
There's another hollow wall here asking to be hammered. by
Well,
I
you haven't
thought there
you
might
haven't
be.
tried that. Now, wait a minute. You have not actually tapped on these walls yet.
Petra.
Well, let's tap. I think there should be a mirror wall.
This is not hollow, or at least it doesn't sound like it. It just sounds
You
like
should
solid,
hit it
solid,
anyway,
solid,
Petra.
solid, solid, solid. I mean, you're welcome to hit it,
Let out
but
your anger.
There's
only
no
by
hollowness
using it can
here.
you
We
join
need a
me.
hollow. I will obsessively tap every panel in the room.
Okay. Make an
Convinced that there
investigation
must be
check.
one here somewhere.
Make an investigation check for me, please, Petra. Strike the wall with your anger and take your place by my side.
7.
No, you're just sort of like this place looks. It's rather disappointing. Like it seems like it's just a bathroom. It's really
Very disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, what's up with that?
Well, Sleepwell, I'm doubting your capabilities as leader here. I don't know.
You didn't give me a chance to tap, so I want to investigate.
Go ahead and make an investigation check. I like how the leader question is up for debate, like from room to room. It all depends on whether you find something.
16.
Same thing. You tap, but it turns out. But again, same situation as before. It seems like not solid, or it sounds like it anyway.
Well, this is a wall.
Fair enough.
Fine.
So, is Aramis with us right now?
I am.
Okay. I just didn't know whose token was left behind in the other room.
Yeah. Don't forget about the tokens.
Probably mine. Hold on. Yeah. Wrong tool. There we go.
So, I say like, assuming errors that I probably shouldn't, I say, okay. So we know that when we attached the colostomy bag or whatever that ship was called to this one, we saw that the bay was empty, but on the other side there's another ship. I think we should investigate that, but if there's going to be another one of those knifey creatures in here, it's going to be in there. So that's where we need to go, but that's where we have to be the most careful.
All right. Well, it did appear like there were multiple entrances, so we could try to come in from 2 different sides.
Definitely try to flank it. I could use my last drone to kind of walk in there and take, like, once we get closer,
That would help.
I could take use the drone to investigate it too.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm proposing. I will be at the door that's closer to the ship here. Kaz, you can cover me. And Aramis and Petra, you'll guard this door here as the drone investigates.
All right.
I concur with this plan.
So assuming no mishaps occur, I put myself in this position ready to execute plan.
Okay.
Ready to execute Order 66.
Okay. So you position yourself there. So the two of you were there. Do you have Petra and Aramis over here?
Petra, yeah, that's where I was
Okay.
asking them to go.
Okay.
I don't know if they did, but that's what
We will go where we were asked to go.
Okay. So go ahead and move tokens there, and then please, and then all right, and then are you doing this like a 1, 2, 3 open? Like how are you?
No, so what we're doing basically is I'm going to use my second
Right, the drone.
drone, and then I'll have the drone open the door and then enter here.
Okay. So when you do this, and you're able to see through the drone without like do you have like a localized vid screen or something like that?
I don't think so, but the door is open between.
Right, you'd be able to. Okay, so
Weren't you able to see through it before?
no, he was
Oh.
looking at because he was looking through a computer feed, I believe. There was a vid screen back on the bridge, I believe.
Right.
But I want to double check because I mean I don't.
Yeah,
actually
I don't
know.
think I can look through it.
Okay.
Okay.
So when the door opens this time, what you can see is the hangar bay on this side is closed. And there is what looks like a shuttle of some kind, about 40 feet by long, about 20 feet wide, that is here, that is currently locked in by clamps. And the doors for this shuttle are closed, but it is a functional shuttle, and it's inside this closed hangar bay.
So I'm going to start moving the drone around. So basically the drone can reach this point and this point in terms of distance.
Okay.
And I think 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I think I can get as far as here and here. So basically the whole thing. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the drone to make basically a perimeter check of that square, of that rectangle, so from there to there to there to there. And I'll just kind of like keep the door open, watching it as it's doing this.
Okay. So as it makes these checks, and it sort of makes this, you hear just sort of quiet whirring as it goes from place to place. The room here remains silent, not deadly silent, but just, sort of normally silent. All you hear is the general humming of the engines. You do not see any of the telltale shimmer or anything like that. And it makes its perimeter check without any apparent effect at all, other than just looking around.
So to everybody, I said, it looks like it's all clear, but I'm going to have the drone go to the ship and make sure there's nothing in the ship. Hold on. And so I'll direct the drone then to actually head toward the shuttle.
Okay. So it's able to do that.
Is there an easy way, like through a door or something, that I could basically open it and start to enter it?
So there is an access door on the side, and there are two front windows, like, view windows towards the front of it. There's also a view window towards the back of the thing. So two in front, here and here, and then one in back. And there's one side access door that's obvious here.
The doors are closed right now?
Correct.
Okay. So, I basically... And
I'm sorry. And one other thing, I beg your pardon. One other thing. Here is one of those control podiums, just like the one that you saw over here. So there's one of those like auxiliary control pedestal things that's right here.
Okay.
Thank you, fantastic.
So basically, I kind of straighten up and I say, it looks pretty all clear. I think we can just go in.
All right. I still have my sniper out and ready to shoot anything, including. No.
Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna keep the drone sort of like between me and the shuttle, but I'm gonna be trying to look at the rear portholes here to take a look inside of the shuttle.
Okay. So inside the shuttle, as you look in it, the shuttle inside is not deserted. There is at the bottom of this shuttle, on the floor of this shuttle, a body. But it is not sliced in half. It is human, and it's just lying on the floor.
Is it in a spacesuit or something?
No.
How long is the hair?
It's probably a little long, sort of maybe shoulder length, although you can't get a clear look. You'd probably need to get inside to see it, because you're kind of having to, like, look up, like kind of look down into the porthole, if you follow what I mean, like up to see down at the bottom of the floor, because it's not a very big porthole. But yeah, the hair looks like it's a little bit longer.
I say to everybody, hey, there's somebody in here.
Alive?
Are they breathing?
I look again.
Doesn't look like it. But I mean, again, maybe, but it doesn't look like it. They're certainly not moving.
I mean, it's obvious that I can't do a full medical check here, but, do I see any signs of lividity or anything like that that would indicate,
Hard to tell, because although it doesn't have a spacesuit, it has gloves and so forth. The only thing you can tell is a little bit of the face, which seems very pale to you. As I said, human, but very pale.
So I kind of look up at everybody and say, like, should I bang on the window? Try to bang on the window?
Sure.
I bang on the window. Hey! Hey!
So the sound echoes through the ship. Hey, 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 hey. Like,
Oh yeah, that's not going to attract.
somewhere in Peltiv area, like, someone looks around. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. It doesn't make that a lot of noise. But you bang on the window, but no effect. The body doesn't move at all.
Let's get inside there.
Agreed.
Try to find the opening to the shuttle.
Okay. You're actually able to find there's a basically like a key thing with a little handle that you could turn, which you're able
look,
to.
Guys, it's a key thing with a handle.
Well, I mean, if you just turn the handle, like you think like there is a keypad, but if it seems to lock this thing, but it's unlocked at the moment, at least from this way. And when you turn it, it just like opens up outwards, and there's this big inrush of air. And inside, the air inside here feels like just incredibly stale, as if there wasn't any oxygen in this thing until just now, inside the shuttle until just now, when you opened it up. And the body still doesn't move.
But do we smell rot?
No, you don't smell rot, but you're pretty confident you're looking at a dead body. Now, obviously, you need to go next to it to see for sure, but...
So at this point, I kind of tap Kaz and say, cover me, Starman. And I'm going to basically use my medical acumen to try to perform an ad hoc autopsy as quickly as possible.
Okay. Go ahead and make a medicine check for me, please. Okay. So, a couple things you know for sure. First of all, this body is dead. Secondly, it has been dead for a while because the body is stiff, the flesh is gray, and part of what may have happened is that it seems to be this body is pretty well preserved, and you're guessing the reason is that there wasn't any air within this shuttle for a while. If you had to guess what might have happened, because it's sort of as you look at it, I don't know if you're able to see on my vid camera, but it's his hand, and it looks like it's a man, although his hair is longer, was reaching out for the door, and then like he was face down like this, but it was like he did this and then kind of rolled over. So it's possible that this is all speculation, locked himself or put himself in the shuttle, then got locked in and couldn't get out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I turned to Kaz and say, poor bastard was probably just trying to save himself from those creatures, and well, this is the way he ended. So what I'd like to do is basically lie him flat and sort of like put him in a sort of like straight, respectful posture, and then rummage through his pockets.
I like your respectful first. Make an investigation check for me, please.
And while he's looting, can we stick our head into the, get ourselves into there and take a look at the computer system?
Sure.
On the
Sure, absolutely. You find on his person very little except for there is a data chip, and then there is what looks like some kind of an electro blade, essentially something which is small, and it's almost like the equivalent of like, to jump out of the game for a minute, like a switchblade. It's used, though, it is completely useless for cutting through doors or anything like that. It's not like a lightsaber, but it's very nasty and easily concealed, and very nasty for shivving someone, you know, when they've done something bad. It's very illegal also, by the way.
So, yeah, I'll pocket that.
Okay. Thank you for the follow.
I mean,
Do I notice that that Sleepwell takes this?
I would assume so, unless Sleepwell was taking very, close
no,
care
no,
to-
I'm not being shy about it. I'm just like, oh, that's
Okay.
cool, and I just kind of put it in my pocket.
Sleepwell, do you already have some sort of a melee weapon?
Yeah, like this short
What is
sword that I have.
Oh, because I just have and I just show my pistol and my sniper, and I have never grabbed some sort of a melee weapon.
Oh, wow! You should
And
do that.
kind of-
someday.
And
Yeah, I kind of dreaded not having one. When
you should
all
attend to
of a
that in
sudden
the future.
the door opened behind me and I had one right there, I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work. So that's all. So do you think I could maybe have the blade, or if you would rather have the blade, I could have your sword? Or
So I just kind of stroll up and I take out the shiv, the electro shiv, and I say, "Here you go, first mate."
of,
Well, so
Wow.
of I take the blade and I'm like, of what?
He's like, of electro shivs. Like, what?
first made of electro shivs.
And I say, "Of the Tangrel, of course." So
Oh.
I just kind of like tap him on the shoulder and I kind of like flip the data chip in the air and start heading towards the pedestal with it.
So, Mr. DM, what kind of blade is this?
So this is like an electro blade. I'll have to look up and see what the specifics are. It basically acts like a dagger, except that it does up to 6 points, 1d6 points of damage plus obviously strength. The big advantage of it, though, is that if you happen to use it first in combat, you get advantage on that initial attack because it is like, like switchblade, and then like it's right there. But it is like literal close range. Its reach is 5 feet generously. You can't use this. You can't throw it because it's got to be in your hand with the blade active.
Okay.
To sort of flip
And-
on and off.
It's is this an energy weapon?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely an energy weapon.
All right.
Yep.
I'll just I don't see an equivalent to that, so I'll just write exactly what you told me. I think the closest thing it would be is like a short blade, but
Yep.
that doesn't have the energy component.
Right.
Wait, is there even? Let me see. Yeah, might be something like energy burst. When a successful attack is made with a weapon with this property, a bonus action can be used. Oh, no.
It's not. No, it does energy. It does what it does is like basically force damage, or the
Okay.
equivalent of it. So it's not really slashing or piercing. It's really kind of,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, so it's a 5 foot. Yeah, I'll write.
Yeah, sort of like a mini lightsaber. Yeah, it was part
Got
of the blade was part of this guy's shaving kit. Yeah, exactly. In the future, that's what we use. Meanwhile, Aramis, you said you wanted to get inside and get to the computer system, right?
That's correct.
The computer system of the shuttle, or inside, like the
computer
podium?
system of the shuttle to see if there's any information
Okay.
relevant to how long this guy's actually been in there or anything else I might learn.
So the shuttle does not, at the moment, doesn't seem to be powered on. It doesn't really, like, you were able to open the thing from the outside, but it seems to have either a very low power state or it's not powered on at all. So the computers are not currently functional. You need to get some energy in it to be able to fire it up.
Okay. once I figure that out, I start looking at the contents of the rest of the shuttle to see if there's anything of relevance that might be important to us.
There are, what you notice on here is that there are a couple of crates of what looks like probably emergency rations, if you had to guess. There are also a couple of spare spacesuits, and they are very much of the portable variety. You would not want to be in these spacesuits for any length of time, but they are sort of designed, you've seen these on other ships before, designed to keep people safe who can't breathe and sort of in the vacuum of space, and could probably keep them safe for a couple of hours, before it started to break down. So there's a few of those that you can find here as well. There is a laser pistol as well that's in the front in sort of this little compartment, almost like a kind of like, I hate to say glove compartment, but like sort of a little sort of space below the paneling in the front of the ship. And then obviously you've got the actual piloting of the ship. There's 2 chairs in front and then chairs along the sides. Seats, it looks like you could seat up to 10 people in the shuttle if you had to.
Anybody need a laser pistol?
I put my hand up. I'm like, yeah.
This one, Sleepwell, does not look a lot better than the one you've already got, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks like
Petra,
very similar.
Do you have any ranged weapons?
I do not.
But I grab it and I hand it off to Petra. Make good use of this. There's also some rations in here.
Huge, clumsy sausage fingers and
What
say
is
very
this?
well.
What is this ancient technology?
I assume you tie it to the head of your hammer.
I do.
I was just thinking, Petra, I want to talk with you. I want to find a way to upgrade your hammer, because you already can make it fiery, which is very impressive. But what if it could also shoot bullets somehow?
I am not opposed to this at all.
That'll be our project when we get back to the
I
hyperloop.
like this. I like this a lot.
Okay.
Aramis, as you're looking in this ship, by the way, you do find a number of, and there's a little box inside this, what Aradonel has properly called a utility cabinet. Thank you, Aradonel. A utility cabinet, and inside this, in addition to the laser pistol that I mentioned, you also find a set of metallic tools. A lot of fine tools, which would basically be well designed for something like a hacker's kit. You think you could actually put together most of what you'd need from this. You're still going to get the disadvantages to it, but you think it's most of what you need you could actually get from here. In fact, it might even have been used for a makeshift hacking, like that might even be what this is, was used for this. This is a smuggler's ship, so this might have been an emergency hacking kit that you'd take with you if you needed to.
All right, I'll do that.
So you think you could now, you might have enough to be able to, get at the thing if you wanted to.
All right. Well, with that in mind, I pull the thing out and I use the Black Hat ability, or the power.
Okay. So you're going to
And
make
then
the
I'll make
intelligence check at advantage, so twice, but you're going to get the -4 from it. So twice at -4.
-4. Okay.
-4. Yep.
Hold on. Just a second. I'm just going to roll it straight and then do a -4 on that.
Okay. Okay.
How about a 16 or a 15?
All right. So as you're sort of fiddling with this, and please note that you use the Black Hat thing. So you're fiddling with it, and then you manage to get it. At first, it's sort of like kind of shorts, like zzz, 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 but then you finally manage to get it where you have access. It's still kind of flickering a little bit, but you're able to access this data pad, and it appears to be essentially a journal. And the journal starts talking. Basically, it's a journal that has several entries in it. And this definitely does not look like an official. This clearly didn't ever go through any official computer log or anything like that, because there was also sort of a log, as you may remember, that you guys saw, that you folks saw at the front of the ship earlier on. But this is definitely looks like a personal journal.
All right. Is there any entries that stand out to me?
So as you start looking through them, and are you, by the way, are you reading these out loud to anybody? Like ones that are notable, or?
Sure.
Okay. Like, I didn't know if you're just like keeping it to yourself or if you were speaking to everyone else. So, go ahead. What are you gonna say, John?
No, I said go ahead.
Okay.
No, I'm fine.
So, so you start reading about whoever this person is basically talking about their frustration with the sort of direction of the ship and its leadership, and make several references to the frelling new cargo and all the effort that has to be made towards the new cargo and all the security about the new cargo and how this new cargo is going to make them all this money, except it's costing them all this money to keep the cargo secure and blah, 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 blah. And there's references to how frustrating it is to deal with Jarva's nonsense about this. And it makes reference to Jarva on multiple occasions. And as you read more and more of this, and as I said, there's about 4 or 5 longish entries, the references to Jarva are odd to you, Aramis, because they don't sound like someone talking about a captain. They sound like someone talking about someone with whom they are very close, possibly even intimate. It makes references to he's so goddamned annoying when he gets this way. He always thinks he's the smartest person in the room. It would be a lot easier if he didn't have a look like a Danuvian sunset, and some stuff like eyes like a Danuvian sunset. And there's references like this that happen over the course of it. And then this continues. You see more and more phrases and comments like this. And then you see, but the final information obviously is inside these crates. Once we get those to the base, everything will be a lot easier, it says. And then it has 2 passwords to presumably the 2 crates that are labeled in there. And it says, once I use these, I'm going to be on Easy Street, and so will Jarva, and we can walk away from all of this. I hope it happens before we get to our destination. That cargo freaks me out every time I walk past it.
Does it make reference to exactly which cargo in the cargo hold?
No, it just keeps talking about the new cargo.
I look back to the group. Did anybody catch the dates on the manifest as to what the latest cargo was? Was it the black items in the back?
Yes.
Gotta be the black items.
Yeah, I mean, it was the only thing you didn't have access to was the manifest for the black items. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that starts to add up for me. I think, yeah. I have a feeling that these Kinasi were loaded in on the black crates, and they were the new cargo, and they were planning to go somewhere, and then all hell broke loose. So we're getting somewhere. Do we know who this person is? And I kind of lightly kick the dead body.
The person does not look familiar to you.
And I didn't find any identification on
No.
And there's no identification to this person's journal?
No, the only identification of anything is the password numbers to the crates that are listed here.
Did we get a list of crew complement when we got the manifest?
No, you did not. But as you think about it, on a smuggler ship, that might not be surprising. There may be crew that do not want to be identified, or they may not want to keep a list in case they were boarded. So it wouldn't surprise you. If this were an up and up operation, then yeah, there's supposed to be a crew list, but this was not an up and up operation.
We still haven't looked at this thing. I hold up the data check. And so, just as a point of information, I have a PC. Like, I just have a personal computer in my backpack. Is it the sort of data chip that could be, inserted into that
Yeah,
thread?
it doesn't look like that complicated. Yep.
So I just kind of like, sit cross-legged on the floor, pop open the PC, stick in the data chip, and try to see what there is to see.
Okay. When you turn it on and you flick in the data chip, your screen flashes and goes black. And there's just a sort of moment of the whole thing going black, and then this arrow begins to shoot to the right and left across the screen repeatedly.
Does that usually
IT?
happen?
No.
No. So, can I make a computer check to try to get
Sure.
this thing under control?
Sure.
Oh, sleep well. I think you should unplug that. I think I know what's happening. I go
you don't,
over
You
and
don't
I
know
try
what's
to-
happening, Sleepwell.
No. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. So,
I go over and I pull the chip out, despite what he says.
Okay. When you pull the chip out, the screen goes black again, and then they're just like, you just hear a clicking sound from inside the computer.
from inside the computer.
I think this was what this person used to wipe the directories, and it might have just fried your PC.
Ah, shit. This is a present from my dad. Crossing out.
But at least we know that now, I guess. Let's maybe go back to the crates and open those up, and maybe we can find you a new, nicer, computer, like a Macintosh.
One that shoots bullets.
Yeah, one that shoots bullets, sure.
One that destroys your enemies. All right. Okay. So you folks are heading back to the crates, or did I hear that right or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So are you all sticking together, or are you just having a couple of you just going to the crates?
All
No,
sticking
we're-
together.
Together.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're all paranoid. Okay. Like just huddle together like a Greek chorus. Okay.
I meant the crates that.
Yeah, over here.
Yeah. The ones that
are you
are.
going to those crates, Aramis?
Wait, those are not the crates that were last loaded on, right?
We're.
No, these are the
So
easiest.
I'm talking about the ones that you just got the passcode for.
The
Which I-
ones I got the passcode for is where I just moved.
No, the ones
no,
you got
no.
the passcode for, in all likelihood, are relating to the 2 crates that were in here.
In the bathroom.
Oh,
Yeah, because remember, these data pad was on top of those 2 crates.
fine. Okay, cool.
Okay. So when you go there and you put in the passcodes for both of them open up. And in the first one, you find what looks like a lot of, I mentioned this mining equipment. This seems also like mining equipment, but it seems like very fine equipment that's like designed for very sensitive mining work. Like it seems like sort of very small, almost like needle length size lasers and stuff like that. That's designed, to get into small areas and deal with sort of small mining places where if you went too far in one direction, everything goes kaboom. And so there's one of the lasers in one of those. The other crate seems to have a lot of personal effects. Seems to have clothing and various like memorabilia and paraphernalia and stuff like that. And on the top of one of them is basically a sort of printed sheet, not of paper, but of some kind of like plastic that has got a repeating message on it. And it says, deliver to ST base is what it says, ST base.
Yeah.
And then it says, deliver to ST base, care of Tesora Marakli Dendusi.
That name mean anything to anybody?
I shrug.
I think it might mean something to Petra.
Say that again.
Tesora Marakli. I might not be pronouncing that last name right. Marakle. First name Tesora, Tezora.
Is that the name of the person that's been speaking to me through the computer?
No, I wouldn't say
No.
that. Although it's possible. You don't actually know exactly what's been speaking to you in the computer. But this is a name from your past, Petra.
Is this the person I owe a lot of money to? I'm sorry, Greg. I don't.
Oh.
I never. I'm looking at my character sheet and
well,
looking at my, not seeing
I
it.
was going to. I mean, I can link it for you. I read I believe you have a certain origin story on your Patreon.
Oh, the origin story that I was messing around with. Yes. All right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you haven't heard head or tail of this person in a long time.
So I get a distant look in my face and go, oh. Well, she's kind of a con woman, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm searching back through my memory.
And I forget, does care of mean care of the person that is delivering it, or care of the person that it is going to be delivered to?
Going to be delivered to. That's who it's going to.
Okay. And Kaz says, there's ST again. We saw something else where we heard about some sort of ST going after Spindra.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like something. This probably is also things that Spindra didn't tell us, but there may have been some sort of a division on the ship where some of the people on the Tangrel were on the side of this ST base, and maybe this Tezora person, and then maybe Spindra was not on that side, and maybe these Kanasi are part of that. But Petra, what are you remembering?
Well, okay, she's a Denduzi, and well, we were kind of friends and kind of not friends. She's very, she's not a really good person to be involved with. She's unscrupulous, and she just gets in the middle of huge messes. And anything that she's involved with is going to be complex and messy, and there's going to be laws being broken and people being pissed off, in my opinion.
So basically a Tuesday night for this group.
After we met you, yes.
More like a Friday night, actually.
Friday night late.
Sleepwell, I'd like you to make let me have you make a history check for me, please. I want to see if you may have heard of this mysterious ST.
So
It's
we're calling that a lore check?
Or a lore check, yeah. Yeah, sorry, wrong system.
Just
Yeah, something about this is tickling your memory, but you don't know what. It's just you keep hearing the term ST and you keep being like, what the? But there's nothing specific that comes to mind. And you certainly had not heard the name, you had not heard about the name that I mentioned before.
Prompted by this itch, though, I kind of go over to Petra and start peeking through some of the paraphernalia in there, look for names, identifications, things that would be, sort of like specific to information about this person.
As you were looking through that, I think it's fair to say that you find a lot of this sort of memorabilia, paraphernalia, things like that. You don't see anything that seems to be of particular note, with one exception, and that is that there is also in here a what looks like some kind of a basically it's an electro picture. So it's this thing that you hold up, and when you sort of look at it in a certain direction, it has one particular picture. If you then flip it over and then turn it back over, it changes the picture. So these things are very cheap. You can find them on most planets. And so when you sort of look at it initially, it seems to be just a picture of, in fact, this Denduzi female. When you flip it and turn it back over, though, you see a Denduzi female, the same one, laughing with what clearly is Spindra.
Like, in what context, laughing?
They seem to be in a room and maybe at some kind of party, basically joking with each other, or at least that's the impression you get.
So it's like these are selfies, kind of.
Yes.
All right. Huh.
So I flip again to see if there's anything else, any other pictures in there.
So when you do it the third
Shake
time,
it like a Polaroid.
right? Exactly. And then you say, "Hey, So you flip it for a third time, and when you flip it back over, what you see is this image, and it is an image that you just saw minutes before. It is an image of an arrow, white arrow, shooting left and right and left and right. And then that arrow vanishes and is left with just 2 letters. And the letters in black, outlined in white, are ST. And I think that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. So,
Fade out on the letter.
Jesus.
fade on the letters.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. The mystery continues. Sorry, Kat. I wasn't trying to play coy. I just didn't want to. I was like, so.
No, that's awesome. I just I wrote that story. I was working on that like a month ago, and so I was just like, "Who is he talking about?"
Yeah. Then I started getting
Awesome.
worried. I'm like, did I find the right story? I'm like,
No, you and I think that's awesome. I'm very happy that Tezora has turned out.
Hey, what's up, Brian? Oh, well, I didn't even see that you had snuck in. I know it's been super busy. Welcome, Brian. So yes, so good work, folks. We had a little bit of combat, a little bit more of exploration. I know we were taking it slow, but this ship is a little freaky, and so you had to be able to do it. And normally, folks, we would have gone a little bit longer, but I have got to talk to Johnny about some things, and then I got to get back into grading. So this is me calling it short. Not short, but definitely not going a little bit longer because I gotta. Unfortunately, as much as I'd rather do nothing but play games all day, I do kind of have to do things for my students as well. But this was wonderful stuff, and it was a good session, I think, to close out 2018. I will start, as usual, on the right side this time with Zach. Zach, great stuff tonight, as always, my friend. How'd you feel about stuff? And where will the fine people see you next, since this is the last Esper Genesis session of the year? He said dramatically.
I am increasingly intrigued by everything we find on this ship, and I really enjoyed the balance of everything, of the combat right off the bat, and then of all of the other stuff, searching through the ship, finding more things about the ship, the more intrigue. So I like the pace, and I like finding out more things, and I like fighting cold-blooded, demonic, sharp-clawed talon things.
and blasting them 3 times, destroying them completely.
So I will next be on the internet. Let's see. I'm not sure when. Probably at the behest of the next year. On more Arvin Elrond streams, more of Esper Genesis, of course, our vocalists, and then more of my own streams. I'm hopefully spending this part of this holiday break consolidating my schedule for the next year, and that may include more of my own personal gaming streams. So we'll see how that goes. But
Sweet.
I'm all on the internet, and my information's probably somewhere around here in the chat or below. So yeah, I'll see you guys around.
Awesome. And just a personal quick addition, thank you, Zach, because this was the year that you really got very involved with this channel. So thank you. You've been a great addition to both our vocalists and Esper Genesis, and thank you, sir. Been a great pleasure to have you on board.
It has been a pleasure.
Moving right along, Carlos, this also fits for you. You have been a wonderful addition to this team also, although the newest member
Leader
of the the current leader. That was really cracking me up. Yeah, I forgot to mention the first mate. So you got that going on. So there was all that happening. But same question to you. How'd you feel about today, and where will the fine folks see? Where can they find these awesome starred reviews of your book and all that stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, today was just a ton of fun. I think, as the group sort of, gets used to this weird cat creature, just kind of running around. I mean, as I play it, I'm thinking I a teenager who pretends to know more than he does, and also, someone who's maybe a little bit on the weak side, a little cowardly, like, all of these conflicting things. And so it's a very mercurial kind of character to play. And it's really funny, and it's a ton of fun. And watching these other characters sort of interact with them is just, well, it makes me laugh anyway. So yeah, it's a ton of fun. And I mean, and as Zach said, the mystery deepens, and so I'll be curious to see where all of this is going. We've got all of these people, so now we've got Petra, 2 degrees of separation between Spindra, who she'd never met before, so all of this is very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I'm still working on the sequel to Sal and Gabby even before it's begun release, so I won't be on the internet too much for the next couple of weeks as I sort of use the holiday period between semesters to really try to crank out some words and try to make some real progress on that. And yeah, I'll be doing more readings. I'm in at the end of January. I'll be at the American Library Association conference in Albuquerque and other things like that. But I bet we'll be gathering again so that I can catch you up on that stuff.
Very nice, man. And again, thank you for having jumped on board. I'm glad that we did that panel at ReaderCon and that we were able to was able to connect and bring you in. So thank you for joining with us. It's been great, and I look forward to 2019.
This has been one of the highlights of my 2018. It's like it's been the fun time that I've had in a really busy semester, so I'm really grateful for it.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm really glad about that. It's funny, actually, Amal said the same thing about her stuff with Adventures of Middle Earth, so I'm very glad about that, because that's obviously what it's all about, and it's selfishly, it's great for me to be able to continually bring in more authors as we take over the world. I mean, as we as I introduce them to the world at large, and that sort of thing. But no, seriously, thank you, Carlos, so much. It's been great. And look forward to more in 2019. And I would say the same thing again to Kat. I actually didn't realize until I was reading Echo's streamer introduction that it was only February of this year that we started it. So it was this year. And I reached out to you about this as well. And you immediately were like, and I didn't know what to make of it because you and I had spoken before. Of course, I knew you, but I didn't know if you were going to be able to do this. And you said that would be a blast. And I was like, great. So I'm really happy about that. How did you feel about today? And where will the fine folks see you live and in person or whatever at events coming soon?
Well, I tell you, I was getting pretty discouraged with those first 2 hits, and I was very happy to have that third time be the charm.
Yeah.
So anytime Petra gets to hit something hard with her hammer, it's a good session for me. I'm actually I think the next thing I'll be at is Confusion in Detroit in January, because what better place to be in January than Detroit?
Exactly. I mean, that's the source of all good things. It's going to be good times. But thank you, Kat. It's been great. And again, same thing. I'm looking forward to seeing how things develop in 2019 for this crew with you. And last but certainly not least, Johnny, we'll talk about the little announcement you have to make in a minute, but just on Esper Genesis sort of things, how'd you feel? Again, you also have been, I was really glad that we got you in for this, because I had been wanting to have you in something for a while. So how did you feel about the session today, and where will the fine folks see you hither and thither on the internets?
Today's session was a lot of fun. Playing I'm the character who kind of forgot the combat that happened last session was entertaining at the beginning, and then getting on Sleepwell's nerves just a little bit of being that guy that just kind of walks into the door as he's trying to be cautious was a little fun too. I hope that wasn't too antagonistic there, Carlos.
Oh no, it's great.
There's a dynamic that's developing there that's going to be fun with Petra and Kaz just kind of stepping in the middle. But no, it was a good time. I felt a little less useful at the end just because the way that the story was going, but it was a good time all around, and I'm looking forward to what we get into next year, especially when we get some time to actually kind of delve into the backstories. I'm very interested to hear about Petra's old friend there. Mm-hmm. That was kind of cool. So.
Especially when we reach level 4.
I told you it was on the way. I told you it was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the fine folks can find me next on Harley's Armory's channel tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, running her little group through Scoundrels, or sorry, it's called Scoundrels of Waterdeep, and we're running Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which has been sort of an entertaining venture into my first foray of running D&D on stream. So that's been an experience. And then after that, I'll be over on Unmade Gaming's channel at about 7 p.m. Eastern for a Tales from the Loop one-shot in support of his Extra Life charity 12-hour stream. So
very, very nice. And I think we can now make the official announcement. So as you folks know, in January, we're going to be doing the Emberwind is going to be happening, starting. John Helfers will be doing that. And the group is coming together. We'll be able to make an announcement about the cast of players for that, but we'll be doing that next month. That will be starting next month, and we'll be running regularly on the channel, not involving me. It will be on an off day, a day when I normally don't stream. And so probably Thursday nights we're looking like for that, but that will partially be dependent on what we work out with Johnny, because Johnny is going to be playing what's it going to be?
The Clay That Woke.
Yeah, so we decided it's going to be The Clay That Woke, which is this awesome Minotaur jungle surrounded city meditation on masculinity and on servant classes and breaking free from that and vows of silence, and it's pretty cool. It's one that I've been thinking about for a long time, and I'm excited to get a chance to see someone actually running that. And so, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. It's going to be really cool. So we will have not one, but two new campaigns starting in January, both of which I will have nothing to do with except for watching with delight, as probably while I'm doing work. But I'm going to be looking forward to that. So
grading papers?
Doing grading papers, yeah. Not in January. I'm looking forward to a little break from those. But anyway, but it's going to be great. So I'm really excited about that. I'm happy that Johnny has agreed. And I actually have two Johns. John Helfers is doing the other GM, and Johnny is doing this. But it's going to be great. And you folks should spread the word about it as well. And in fact, that's right. And Brahms is in the Emberwind one. That's right. But we will announce the cast, of course, for The Clay That Woke. We already have a couple of good possibilities, I think, but we will announce that officially afterwards. I want to finish by saying, and I'll wrap up with all of the chat in just a minute, but I will let these folks go. But I will say, first of all, I want to thank them for doing this. Obviously, this was sponsored by Alligator Rally, and when I reached out to them, I said that I had a group of people that I was thinking of putting together. I had a good idea of some of those people, but this was before I knew that some of those people would say yes, so I wasn't 100% sure. And it's wonderful that we had the people. I mean, I didn't come under false pretenses, but when I was like, oh, I've got a great group of people, these were part of the group of people that I was thinking about. Unfortunately, Louise wasn't able to stick with it because of scheduling, things like that, and Louise was great while she was here, but she couldn't stay with it. But we had Carlos came in, who just, stepped right in and didn't miss a beat. So I want to thank everybody in this group for having really done a wonderful job in 2018. I think, as you can see, Brian has been, and all the guys at Alligator Rally have been really happy with what they've seen from this group, this pioneer group doing the first official campaign of it. So you should all be proud of yourselves. You're going to get a chance to do more role playing and slow things down, but it's not easy to be able to sort of play in a new system that's forming and being created around them as they go, and they just really embraced it. So I want to thank Johnny and Kat and Carlos and Zach for being wonderful sports and wonderful players. You did a wonderful job, and I am very lucky to have good players like this. So thank you all. Happy holidays and all that kind of good stuff. And I will see all of you wonderful people in the new year. So yeah, I just wanted
happy holidays to you and to chat too.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Chat, can we get some love for the players? And I will see everyone soon. Thank you all so much. And Johnny, I'll be back on Discord in like 2 minutes, or after the thing's over. Cool.
That's good. Talk to you then.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
All right.
Bye. All right. So that is going to do it for tonight's session. And like I said, I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed having a chance to play it. And I also, of course, want to thank one of the most important groups of people to thank here is I want to thank the wonderful people from Alligator Alley. When I reached out to them, I think I happened to get them at the right time, because I think they had just been thinking about starting to do something on Twitch, and I was thinking about wanting to expand and doing some other campaigns, and I had been looking for a space campaign, and I found this one, and I was really impressed with this system from the very beginning. And told them that and said, I'd like to be able to do this. And they jumped on board and were like, yes, we'd like to be able to do this too. And it's been a great partnership. And as we know, they also was a partnership that is going to be publishing in the new year, running a Kickstarter for and publishing my set of linked D&D adventures called the Forbidden Library Trilogy, which is great. And so I couldn't think of a better group to be able to do that. So that's going to be coming very soon, the next couple of months. And I'm very excited about that. So thank you, Brian, for sponsoring this. Thank you to Rich Lescouflair. Thank you to all the wonderful people over there at Alligator Rally. It's a small group, but a good group of people. So thank you so much for trusting in the channel and trusting in me as a GM and trusting in our chat. And thank you to chat for being great as well. You folks have been great. And for those of you who have been watching just sort of exclusively the Esper Genesis stuff, thank you. And again, there's more where that came from as we move into the new year. Speaking of role-playing, I'm going to be back with you folks tomorrow night when I will be playing more D&D Curse of Strahd with that campaign. That'll be the closing session for that group for the year. So you will not want to miss that. That has also been a great amount of fun. So definitely stop by tomorrow. That will start at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for D&D with Infinity and Beyond. And by then I will be actually done with my Bloody Greats. So that'll be the case with that. Otherwise, thank you all for those of you who have just been watching this. Thank you for a wonderful year. And I am so excited for more of them. But of course, for those of you who watch regularly other shows, I'll see you folks again tomorrow. But again, thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody from Alligator Rally. Super excited for Forbidden Library and for seeing how that goes. And I have other publishing news, some of which I just found out about today, actually, that I am super excited to share with you folks coming in the next couple of weeks. It might come after the new year, I don't know, but it won't be long into the new year where we'll be announcing that other publishing news. So good stuff all the way around, very exciting. So, but that's going to do it for me. Thank you, everyone. And I think we're actually probably going to do a raid, but what I'll do is I will do a manual raid, so to speak. And let's see. Who are we going to? I know who it's going to be. I know exactly who it's going to be. This is who it's going to be. Good. All right. I know who we are going to raid. And we are going to do it as soon as the video outro is over. So once you hear my video outro, then we are going to head over and we're going to raid this person who I'm going to put in, but I'm not going to do it yet. But the key is to wait until you hear my audio outro. The next game was won by Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. So that's what we'll be doing on Tuesday. So I'll be back for D&D Curse of Strahd tomorrow, and then Tuesday will be my Christmas family stream with myself, Little Arv, Mrs. Arv, Mini Arv playing, well, for as long as Mini Arv will deal with it. He is only 2.5, playing Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, so it should be a good time. I want to thank all of you wonderful people who made this an awesome stream. Don't forget the ways to support the stream. Please follow the channel if you haven't already. Please check out the YouTube with !ArvTube, Discord with !ArvCord, the shop with !ArvShop, the Twitter with !ArvTweets. Please check the Patreon, currently sitting at $406.96. The higher that gets, the better it is for the channel, the cooler stuff you can get for yourself. My goal was to be past 400 by the time we reach the end of the year. We've reached that goal, but the more we can get above that, obviously the better. So thank you for those of you who supported that with !ArvTreon. And last but certainly not least, thanks Dragon, of course, is the sub button. My goal there was 52 subs. Was 50 subs. We are at now 52 subs. So again, the farther north we get of that, the better. That definitely helps as well. So please support that if you possibly can. Thanks to my wonderful viewers. Thank you to Dragon Spear for his wonderful mod work all year, although I'll talk more about that when it gets to the end of the year. Thank you for Dragon Spear. Thank you to Aerodinel, to Brahms, Death by Sumo. Great job tonight, Carlos. Thank you so much. Thank you to Nonstop and Rock God. Thank you all to all of the wonderful subscribers, and of course the Patreon supporters who get recognized in here as well. Thank you to Alligator Rally Brian. Again, Brian, so happy to be working with you on Forbidden Library and so happy to be working with you on this. Thank you so much for Esper Genesis and for Consigned to Oblivion that we're playing through right now, and for the sponsorship of the stream. Thank you to Bananaman. Thank you to Breaks. Thank you to Kat Rambo. Again, Kat, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Make sure that you check out Kat and Carlos's writings, by the way, everybody. They're both very good writers. Kat, of course, President Sif, a wonderful short story writer, does a bunch of classes as well, online classes with a bunch of wonderful teachers that she brings in from all across the industry. So you definitely want to check out her work. Thank you to Commander Root. Thank you to Crap Bucket. Thank you to Dr. Ruby, to ECAG, Electrical Longboard, Electrical Skateboard. Thank you to Full Moon. Thank you to Kei Shirogani. Thank you to Love Madoka. Thank you to Melvin Purvis, to Mr. Mano. I think some of those are new to the stream. If you like what you saw and heard, please follow and support with the Patreon if you can. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to Mr. Mano, Polizei, Positivity Bot for always keeping me positive. Thank you to Quiet Geek, Skinny Seahorse, Slow Cool, Stay Hydrated Bot for always keeping me hydrated. Thank you to Tade, U Christensen, V&K, Video Store Cowboy, Johnny, thanks so much. Great work tonight. I'll see you in just a couple minutes. And, of course, Virgo Praz. Much love to everyone, and we are going to be rating this person. Don't do it yet. We're going to be rating this person. We will do that once the video is up. So we're going to go over and check out GC Darkside Rob, who you will see tomorrow on Curse of Strahd. He is playing some Ashen. So we're going to go over there and give him some love in just a minute. But that's going to do it for me. Thanks, everybody. Much love to everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow for some D&D Curse of Strahd. Until then, thanks for a wonderful series, year of Esper Genesis. More to come in 2019, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Until then, have a good one. Have a good night.
When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I grew older, I set aside childish ways. Corinthians 13:11. In the distant future, mankind has spread into the stars and found it is not alone. Within the cluster of planets known as the Silrain Heart, many races strive for survival or supremacy. But throughout this array of planets, societies, and cultures, each has one thing in common: the Crucibles. Scattered throughout the galaxy, each moon-sized structure contains a core of raw Saurian, a form of mysterious energy used to power ships, cities, and sometimes the warping of the fabric of reality itself. Beings who can do this have been given a name: Espers. The power of God has been granted to God's children. It is a time of terror. It is a time of wonder. It is the time of Esper Genesis.